There you go. I can't really do background music if there's already music to it.
I didn't know this had background music, okay? People didn't know.
Mi novia, mi titi, to the BIP, to the BIP, ay, BIP.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? We got FearTheBeardo joining us on another episode of Deep Dive with High Tide. This is the second episode. Appreciate everybody being here already. We got Larry the I Dot, Mark Andre Roy Schwartz. Dr. Butcher says, yikes from early. I have no idea what that means, but you know what? Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start off. Beardo, introduce yourself for people who may not know who you are.
I'm FearTheBeardo. I'm FearTheBeardo. Am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm FearTheBeardo. Yeah, I'm part of the Geeks and Gamers crew. I do Sports Wars over on Geeks and Gamers, Tuesday night's main event, gaming streams, everything. I'm there for all the meetups and everything, but also on my channel. I'm a variety streamer. I stream all sorts of video games. Excellent professional gamer. And if you have anything to say, whether I'm a professional gamer or not, I do get paid to play video games. So that technically makes me a professional gamer. I don't know, man. I'm an expert. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm good at almost everything I do. But yeah, I mean, as humbly as I can say, I'm just some dude on the internet.
Dr. Butcher says otherwise. He is Princess Beardo.
I'm Princess Beardo. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Beardo's Rocket League streams, go check him out. He's definitely a professional gamer.
Yeah. I'm warming up. I'm brand new to Rocket League. I do like the game. I'm in love with Rocket League, man. It's very competitive. It's got a learning curve to it, and I'm trying to be good. I have moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it, and then sometimes I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, I haven't played that game in like 7 or 8 years, but I know it's kind of gotten a renewal with Jinxie and some other streamers. Now kind of blowing it back up a little bit, but I might check it out myself sometime soon. But seeing yesterday, I don't want to get absolutely destroyed like you guys were.
It's sweaty, bro. It is sweaty in there, but I guess that's probably how it's always been. But it's fun, man. It's a good time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of streaming, kind of take me back to the start of Beardo. How did you kind of get the idea of one day sitting around playing on your Xbox, or I think you're PlayStation guy actually. So sitting on your PlayStation, what made you be like, you know what? I'm going to start streaming this.
So there's a few different starting points. Like there was like a part A starting point, a part B starting point. What up, X-Week says, who the fuck is that guy?
He didn't say guy, he said gay.
No. It was with like an accent, like who the fuck is that guy?
I think
like an Irish accent. Who the fuck is that guy?
I think he meant what he said.
Maybe. There was a few starting points. So in 2019, when Resident Evil 2 came out, I saw Jeremy Johns and Angry Joe's review of Resident Evil 2. And I never played a scary game. I've never played a survival horror, any kind of scary game ever. So, but I was interested. I saw their reviews on YouTube and I was like, wow, everyone is saying that this game is great. Resident Evil 2? I'm like, where's Resident Evil 1? And then I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, this franchise started in the 1990s. Now we have a remake. So I was very intrigued with that. And then it was in my algorithm since I watched those videos. And I'm seeing like streamers. And this was kind of like my first introduction of like streamers. Like I didn't really get it. I didn't get like watching people on YouTube play video games. I didn't grasp it and understand like that corner of the internet where people watched other people play video games. So I'm watching this compilation video of all these streamers who are playing Resident Evil 2, and I'm watching like their jump scares and their reactions to scary moments and stuff. Like Mr. X, for example, when Mr. X first shows up. So I'm like, this is great. Maybe I can do this. I want to do this just for fun.
Yeah.
So I go to Best Buy. I buy myself a capture card, Elgato capture card. Literally the same capture card I use to this day, the Elgato HD 60S. I still have it. That's the one I use. And I also buy Resident Evil 2 Remake. All I had was a PlayStation 4 and a Google Chrome laptop. That's all I had. I made a Twitch account and I hooked everything up. I went to Michael's like hobby, like arts crafts store, Michael's Arts and Crafts. Yeah. And I bought a blue like cardboard stand. So, and I put it behind me. I'm in my bedroom. I put up this like trifold blue cardboard behind me so you couldn't see my door, my bed, or anything behind me. And I also bought at Best Buy the PlayStation 4 camera. And I just did it. And I posted on Instagram. I said, hey, I'm going to go live playing Resident Evil 2. And I posted the Twitch link. And surprisingly, because when most people have like their first introduction to Twitch, and we will get to later too, I had like 20 to 30 people watching me.
Yeah.
And this is probably because, people who I went to high school with, family members, friends of family members and stuff, they were like, probably in the same boat as me, like, what is streaming? What is video game streaming? Why am I going to watch somebody play video games? I'm curious. What is this all about? So surprisingly, on my very first stream, I had a lot of people watching me because I posted it to Instagram. So anyways, I'm playing Resident Evil 2 for the first time from my PlayStation, and PlayStation 4 had the stream directly to Twitch. So all I had to do was in the PlayStation 4 settings, plug in my Twitch username, password, whatever, and then press go live. And the funny thing is when you stream from PlayStation 4, it puts your box, your camera that I'm in right now, it puts it in the bottom corner, but on the TV screen, it's there too. So you're seeing yourself while you're playing the game, you're sitting there in the fucking corner. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I played Resident Evil 4. And then at that point, Spider-Man 2018, Spider-Man PlayStation 4 had already been out for some time, but the DLC was coming out. So then I played the Spider-Man PS4 DLC from my PlayStation 4. And then, I don't know, I had a full-time job, and I just kind of stopped. It was just kind of like a hobby, just something I was like curious about. Let's try to make some clips. I was like, I wonder if I can get on one of those clip channels that I watched. And then I just kind of just faded out of it, just kept playing video games for fun, didn't really stream them. I think those were the two games that I played on PlayStation that I streamed to Twitch, was Resident Evil 2 and Spider-Man 2. Now here's kind of part B to the story. In 2018, obviously Fortnite was huge. Yeah. And me and my brother, we only had one console in the house, and it was the PlayStation 4. So me and my brother were taking turns on the PlayStation playing Fortnite with our buddies. And then we decided around tax return season in 2018, let's take our tax return and let's each build a computer, a gaming computer. So we each individually took our tax returns and we built computers. I must have watched, shout out to Paul's Hardware. I watched Paul's Hardware. He's a YouTube channel, great tech computer YouTube channel. I watched his videos. I must have watched 100 hours of his PC building videos. And I built a computer, and I still have it to this day. This is what I'm using right now. This is my streaming computer. I've optimized it. I've upgraded the RAM. I've upgraded the cooling system. I put more fans in. I've also upgraded the graphics card in it. But it's still the same motherboard and still the same processor and the case. I still use it to this day. So that was kind of the gateway. I had the computer. I was lucky. I had the computer that I built with my tax return money. So I went from a PlayStation gamer to a PC gamer. And then so I was working at this lumber company.
Mm-hmm.
This is a long story. High Tide. This is a long story.
Hey, we're here.
Hopefully,
we're
I'm not boring you. Hopefully, the chat's keeping along.
No, we're listening intently.
So I was at this lumber company, and I thought it was going to be my career. I was making great money, in a job, in a position that I didn't deserve, that I didn't earn. I don't have a college degree. I don't even have a associate's degree. I went to community college and never finished. So I never went to university. I don't have a bachelor's. I don't have associates. But when I was in college, thanks to my dad had connections to the lumber industry. He helped me get a job at this wholesale lumber company, and I got hired. I think I did 3 interviews, and then I didn't hear anything for a week. So I called them up and said, "Hey, it's me. What are we looking at the process here? Did you hire somebody? Who are you looking at?" And they're like, "Oh, Trevor, I'm glad you called. I was just about to call you today or tomorrow. You're hired." And I'm like, "Great, perfect." 23 years old, and I'm like, this is going to be my career for the next 40 years. That's what I thought I was going to do. I was just going to work at this lumber place for the next 40 years. And, you know, it was a good job. It was not fun, but it was a job, and I was making a lot of money. The commute was terrible. I was driving 2 hours to work, 2.5 hours back home with rush hour traffic. It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, here's the funny part about this story. On my commutes, I would listen to, obviously, Joe Rogan podcast, a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts, but you run out of Joe Rogan podcasts because you've listened to them all. I mean, for 3 years, for 2 or 3 years, driving 2 hours to work and 2 hours back every single fucking day, 5 days a week, you run out of Joe Rogan podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm watching Young Rippa 5'9". I'm watching. Oh, and I started watching Jeremy in 2017, 2018. I would wake up in the morning when I'm working at Vitamin Shop. This was before the lumber place. I'm waking up in the morning before I go to the gym. I'm going to the gym at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I wake up in the morning. This was my routine. Wake up in the morning. Did Jeremy post a Star Wars video? That was my routine. I had the notifications on. Did Jeremy post a Star Wars video? Play a few matches of Fortnite, go to the gym, come home, shower, go to work at Vitamin Shop. So I already knew about all these guys. I knew about Jeremy. I was an avid Jeremy, listening to Geeks and Gamers on what he had to say about Star Wars. But, you know, a few years later, when I'm commuting to work, I'm watching still Geeks and Gamers videos and stuff. And Young Rippa, mostly politics when it came to Young Rippa, because at this time, this was like 2020, COVID, you know, Joe Biden, the election and stuff. So, and this was when Rippa was like heavy into politics, posting 2 or 3 videos a day. So anyways, while I'm working at this lumber job, it's not as exciting as it sounds. I'm not out there working the mill, fucking chopping wood or anything like that. I'm at a desk on the computer, answering phone calls, selling lumber. How much do you need? You need whatever. And there was quite a few people, who knew who my dad was. So they knew me, and there were people who were like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 24 years old. And they're like, do you want to do this forever? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this forever. Yeah, this is my career. This is my career now. I want to do this forever. And they're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Trust me. If there's anything else out there better that you can do it. You don't want to be selling lumber forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I didn't take him seriously. I'm like, yeah, sure. You're just saying that because you are 50 or 60 years old and you're saying that right now, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, I want to do this forever. And then there was another old guy. He's like, wow, you have a great voice. And I'm like, thank you. What's your name? I'm like, my name's Trevor. He's like, oh, you're so-and-so's son. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you have a great radio voice. You should be on the radio. Why are you selling lumber? You should go work for a radio station, broadcast. And I was like, you know what? I get that a lot, and I've thought about it. I'd love to be a sports broadcaster. And they're like, sports broadcaster? You could be the next Rush Limbaugh with that voice. And I started thinking, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get back into the streaming thing, because I'm not going to go intern for a radio station and work for $0 and work for a radio station and kiss ass. I'm not going to do that. But I do have a computer that I built. I do have a microphone, and I do have a webcam. Maybe I'll just start live streaming, and I'll just start talking about anything. We'll start with video games, but the topics, when I'm playing the video games, I can talk about anything. I can talk about sports. I could talk about politics. I can do anything. And the video game is going to just be the background of what you're listening to. And I still kind of, to this day, behave in that same way. Like the video games, the live streams that I do, it's kind of the background music to the conversation that I'm having with the chat. I like to approach my live streams as I'm the Joe Rogan, and the chat is the guest of the Joe Rogan podcast. And we get to have this very close personal conversation, almost podcast style, where I'm the Joe Rogan host and the chat is the guest. I still like to operate that way, but that was like my goal. I'm like, that's how I'm going to operate my streams when I live stream. So I started live streaming from my house, and then I started live streaming when me and my ex we had a place. Started live streaming from there, and I started taking it more seriously. But it was a hobby. But I started taking it more seriously. But all I was thinking about when I was at work was, what time is it? I just want to get home. Not to just get home just so I can eat and sleep and just veg out on the TV. When can I get home to stream? And it became a healthy illness where I'm like, I just want to get home so I can stream. So you have to understand, I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive to work, a 2-hour commute, so I can get there by 7:30. Working 9 hours, and then doing a 2.5-hour drive home so I can fire up a stream and stream for 3 or 4 hours, going to bed at midnight and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning the next day. I did that for 3 years. I did that for 3 years.
Dang. That's a grind.
It was a damn fucking grind. So anyways, yeah. And then during that period, I was still watching Geeks and Gamers. I was still watching the videos and stuff like that, but I didn't really watch the live streams because even though I was doing it, I didn't understand like the Mario Kart night. I'm like, why am I going to watch 12 people play Mario Kart and cuss at each other? Like, I didn't get it. Although I was doing it. it. I didn't understand, like, I was getting into it, but for me, I still didn't really understand it. Now I do get it. But there was one night in particular when I'm like, and eventually I quit the lumber job. I quit the lumber job because I just couldn't do it. And I bet on myself. And I said, you know what? This is going to be my career. I'm going to make this my job. I don't have the financial funds to do it. I don't have any guaranteed money. I wasn't even monetized on YouTube. I was monetized on Twitch, but I was making $20, $30 a month on Twitch, just from bits and subs. And for those of you guys in the chat who don't know, bits are just pennies on Twitch.
Yeah.
Bits is pennies. And then you have subs. But I quit. I quit the lumber job. I'm like, you know what? I'm done because I'm betting on myself, and this is what I'm going to do. And then so I was like working some part-time jobs at breweries and stuff, but still all I was doing was streaming. And there was one night I messaged Jeremy, and okay, before I get to that, I was on Twitter trying to get into the Geeks and Gamers community, just trying to get some traction, make some friends, just like talk to people, because I would be in the Tuesday Night's Main Event chat, some of the gaming chats and stuff, the live streams, and I would be chatting in the chat or tweeting people on Twitter, and I wasn't getting any likes, no replies, nothing. And I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to, make some friends, talk to people in the community. And I wasn't getting anything. And I was FearTheBeardo. I wasn't under a different name. I was still on this Twitter. I was FearTheBeardo, adding people on Twitter, replying to comments, replying and trying to talk to people in the chat. And I was getting nothing. Nobody was talking to me. And so I messaged Jeremy and I said, hey, man, you probably won't respond, but I'm trying to get more involved in the community. So do you have any tips on how I can get more involved in this community to, talk to some people and, just make some friends? It's not like I didn't have friends in real life. I have plenty of friends in real life, still to this day, great friends. But I was just trying to get some attention and some traction and just talk to people in the community. And I wasn't getting anything. So I talked to Jeremy, messaged him on Twitter and said, how can I get more involved? I wasn't asking for a job. I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't asking for a shout out. I just said, how can I get more involved here? And he ghosted me. No response. Nothing.
Dang.
A few months go by. Marc-Andre Roy's right. About 2 or 3 months go by. And I'm in Tuesday Night's Main Event chat. And I'm chatting. And Jeremy highlights my message and says, FearTheBeardo. He's like, I've been watching your stuff, man. He's like, I've been watching your live streams. I've been watching your videos. You got good stuff, man. He's like, you got a good voice. You've got good screen presence. You're confident. You're funny. He's like, I'm going to be reaching out to you, man. He's like, tomorrow, I'm going to message you my phone number and we're going to get on a phone call. He said this live. Just highlighted my thing. He's like, I like your stuff. You're good. I'm going to message you tomorrow, give you my number, and we're going to talk on the phone. Wow. I was fucking doing laps around my bedroom, dude. I was fucking running, dude, jumping up, fucking running. I'm like, holy fuck. Yeah. What just happened? And I was going fucking crazy. And sure as shit, the next day, Jeremy messaged me, gave me his phone number. We talked on the phone. And he asked me to join Sports Wars. He's like, you have sports videos on your channel. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. And he asked me to join Sports Wars. And then I think the next day is when I got on the phone with Ryan and talked to Ryan and just pretty much solidified everything. Like, yeah, I'm going to bring you on Sports Wars. You're going to be working with me and stuff. So when it came to G&G and working with G&G, my first job was Sports Wars. I didn't do anything else. It was just making videos and live streams for Sports Wars. That was it. And then eventually, Jeremy invited Mario Kart. Let's do Mario Kart. Okay, cool. So Sports Wars and Mario Kart, cool. And then later on, hey, do you play Fortnite? Yeah, I play Fortnite. Let's play some Fortnite. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's play some Fortnite. And then years later, well, maybe not years, months later, hey, do you want to be on Main Event? Yeah, I'll come on Main Event. Sure, why not? I'll come on Main Event. And I just kept grinding. I kept grinding on Sports Wars, kept grinding, showing up every single time I was invited. Didn't miss a Mario Kart, didn't miss a Main Event. And then when Jeremy was planning on doing the content house down here in Orlando, we were talking. I definitely wasn't the first choice. I definitely was not the first choice. it was a lot of me trying to convince him, hey man, like I'm a warrior, bro. Like you fucking tell me to fucking jump, I'll tell you how high. No, you ask me to jump, I will ask how high.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, let's bring you down. Let's bring you down. When can you do it? I was like, tomorrow. But realistically, I was like, give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. And no joke, 2 weeks later, man, I had everything packed up. Me and my mom hopped in my truck, drove across the country to Florida, and I moved into the Geeks and Gamers content house, and I lived there for about a year until, obviously, you know, financially and stuff like that, it just didn't work out. And that was it, man. Just taking a bigger role. You know, started here with Sports Wars and just kept inching my way up. And here I am now. Long story short. Long story long. There you go. Started at Vitamin Shop. Wanted to play some Resident Evil on stream. Built myself a computer. Worked at a lumber job. People were telling me that I should do something else. Do something with my voice. And started streaming, bet on myself, got recognized by Jeremy, and here I am.
Yeah. I mean, that's a crazy story. I mean, that was 20 minutes of background.
I told you. It was a long story, man.
Yeah. But I mean, that's good. I think, who was it? Right here, Jay Byrne says, I never knew Beardo start. Good stream. I don't think a lot of people do know most of your story, you know, maybe certain parts, but but how were those sort of like, maybe not even first months, but even first couple of years of streaming, you know, even though, you know, you said you have a passion for it, but eventually if you want to, you know, kind of make it bigger, like how were those first sort of months or years going through that process and seeing that sort of evolution, I guess?
Before G&G?
Yeah, before G&G. Like from when you started through those years, like what would you say the whole process was like for you before G&G?
Dead. Dead.
Yeah.
Because the industry is so saturated. The whole industry is saturated now. So when I was streaming on Twitch, so like I was saying before, when I streamed my first Resident Evil streams on PlayStation, like for some reason I had like 20 or 30 people watching me on Twitch. And then when I went to doing it for real and doing it consistently, like 4 to 5 times a week, every single night, 4 viewers, like max. And 2 of those was me on 2 different laptops with a fake email watching my stream just to make it look like I had viewers. And that's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of people do when they first start, is they'll have other computers, other laptops, phones and stuff with you know, burner emails on a fake account watching to make it look like you have views. And that's what I did. I remember on Twitch when I got my first raid of 16 people, I was hyperventilating, dude. I was out of body experience, got lightheaded because I was freaking the fuck out when I got raided with 16 viewers. So it was a grind, and I remember the grind to get 100 subs on YouTube, because at that point I wasn't even live streaming on YouTube. I was just making videos, and most of my videos was me clipping my live streams and making them into like 30 to 40 minute videos of gameplay. And you guys, all those videos are still available on my channel right now. Resident Evil videos, God of War videos, all of those old videos that I first did when I was Baby Beardo before G&G, they're still on my channel. So that's really what I did. I didn't live stream on YouTube until Spider-Man 2, 2023. I didn't live stream on YouTube, I think, until Spider-Man 2. But yeah, so before G&G live streaming, it was nothing. It was dead. Like my live streams were nothing. Jeremy recognized me because of my sports videos that I did on my channel, and the videos of the live streams that I clipped and put on YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's the big thing is that's kind of why I asked you about the process, because a lot of people go through that of not really seeing too much growth, but whether it's streaming or just videos or really anything in life, and kind of get to a certain point where you're like, is this worth it? You know, should I keep pushing through, or should I just, you know, switch things up, put my time somewhere else? So like for you, did you ever have those moments, and what did you kind of like keep in mind to kind of keep pushing through that?
Ask the first part again.
Uh, Basically, it was just like if you have those thoughts of, you know, giving up because you're not really seeing any growth, and like how did you kind of push through that?
Oh yeah, I was told several times by people who aren't in my life anymore, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, um that I'm a bum, that I quit my job, that I'm a bum, it's never gonna work out. My ex-father-in-law was, you know, very disrespectful, saying that how can you support my daughter with this? You're never gonna make it. This old man who didn't know anything of what he was talking about, saying, you know, less than 1% of people actually fucking make this and make it as a job. You need to do this, work for me. My ex-wife telling me you need to do something honorable, like work with your hands, like you're what are you trying to do? Just work on the computer. You need to do something manly. You need to work with your hands, work in a shop, work in whatever.
Mm,
Very, very not positive things coming from people who I thought would have supported me. And
mhm.
and yeah, I just didn't listen. I just didn't listen. I just kept doing it. I just kept plugging away. Um yeah. So obviously that didn't work out. It wasn't a healthy situation. And I wound up going back to my parents' house,
Mm.
and they supported me. My parents supported me, and it didn't matter. You know, it was 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm being Fear the Beardo, yelling, and my parents not once said, "Hey, can you quiet down?" I didn't get a text on my phone saying, "Hey, can you be quiet? We're trying to sleep." They knew what it was. They knew that this was the grind. They knew that this was the job. They understood the assignment, and they supported me. And you know, a few months later is when I moved to Florida. So yeah. So
Yeah.
you just can't listen to the noise, man, because there's a lot of people who don't understand it. There's a lot of people who don't understand it, um, who think that this is a pipe dream and that there's no money in it, which that's not always guaranteed.
Mm.
That is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
That there's going to be money in this and you're going to be able to do it and you're going to be rich, because that's kind of like that's a false narrative, is that streamers are extremely rich people. That's absolutely not the case.
Mm.
You're lucky. You are very lucky if you can do it to make it a career and to make it a living. That's not saying that it's impossible, but you have to grind and you have to get lucky. But for the people in my past saying that I'm a bum, you're not a bum. If you're trying to do it, you are absolutely not a fucking bum. You're not a failure. No, you're just getting started is what it is.
Yeah. But what about, or maybe this wasn't the case for you, but did you have any self doubts? You know, there's people maybe saying stuff to you, but for yourself, you never had any self doubt?
Never,
Ever.
never,
Dang.
never, never had any self-doubt. Never. I was grinding away on my computer, editing videos myself, posting them. How can I evolve? What can I do next? How can I separate myself from other people? What can I do? And
Mm.
I'm watching other streamers. I'm watching other streamers. What are they doing? How can I do that? Looking up stuff. How does this streamer do this with his technology, with his OBS? How do I do this? How do I do a transition? Like, I'm just constantly researching these streamers, watching their streams, and seeing why they're the best, and how can I implement that in my own original way into my stream. But never once I don't even think the thought crossed my mind if I was going to fail ever.
Well, because the reason I ask is sort of what you were saying. It's not guaranteed, that no matter how many hours you put in, no matter how hard you work, and it's not just streaming, just anything, you can want something, but if you try your best, it doesn't necessarily guarantee an outcome, So for most people, whether it's streaming or anything, a lot of people reach that point, of giving up. Do you think that just comes down to like how badly you want it, how much you love that thing?
100%.
Or does it have to be sort of a point of like you have to account for other things and not just how much you love something? Does that make sense?
I think it's a combination of both, because then there's talent and then there's skill. Talent just comes naturally. You're born with talent. But then there's skill, which you develop. You develop skill. Like, let's say a professional baseball player. Like, there's people who are just talented. They have the reflexes. They have the hand-eye coordination. They're fast. But then there's skill, which you develop, where how many hours are you putting into the batting cage? How many hours are you putting into pitching practice and to hiring a pitching coach, hiring a hitting coach, where you're not just going to your baseball practice for your school or for your club or whatever. You're going to a specialist afterwards or in between practice or after school before practice, where you're going to a specialist and you're getting training done. That's skill and that's determination, and that's how good you want to be a baseball player. If you don't have the talent as other kids, then you have to develop your skill at it. And that translates into almost every single field that there is in existence. So when it comes to streaming, there's going to be talented streamers who just have a knack for it, who are just a jack of all trades, who have it. But then there's also people who develop the skill and they do the research and they're like, how can I evolve? How can I improve? What can I do? What can I add? What's going to separate me from the other streamers out there? But when you combine talent and skill, and you're talented, but then you also put in the work to develop the skill, you're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. Do you think that's probably the big thing that separated you, is how much time you put into it? Like, do you think that you had an innate talent for it, or do you think it really was just like you put so much time into it that you got so good that it kind of made you ready for the position that you're in? If that makes any sense.
No, that does, and that's a great question, because I want to answer this as humbly as possible, because, dude, my channel, I don't even have 10,000 subs. Like, I'm an ant, I'm an ape, like, when it comes to streaming. But I do have a great community. I do have a rather large viewing base when I'm live, as compared to like there's channels that have 200,000 subs that are getting less live viewers concurrently than I am on a channel with almost 10,000 subs. So I was blessed with a great community and people who watch and who are consistent with that. Shout out to the Bearded Society. That's right. So I got blessed that way. But also, as humbly as I can say it, I think, it's probably a little bit of both. I think that I had a knack for it, that I'm confident behind the camera and stuff like that. And also, I did the research. I wanted to evolve. I wanted to take things to the next level. So, but the job's not done. The job's not done. I'm not satisfied. I want to take it to the next fucking level. I want to, I want to be in the topper up echelon of the streamers. So the job's not done.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the crazy thing, is like, you aren't even at 10,000, but like you said, I see so many channels out there that have, 100,000 or more subs, and they can't even pull the same numbers as you. It's like, it shows that you've got a crazy community because of who you are, because of the personality you've kind of, I guess, made over all those years of streaming as well.
And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of it is due to the support from Geeks and Gamers. Like, if I didn't have Geeks and Gamers and Jeremy's support and Ryan's support, I wouldn't have this audience. I wouldn't have this audience at all. And And that's one thing that I definitely took advantage of and didn't take it for granted, was the fact that with Geeks and Gamers, I have this leverage, I have this platform. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. There's people that would cut off their fucking left nut to just be a part of Geeks and Gamers and have that kind of platform and leverage. So,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people who don't take advantage of it, who are with other organizations who have the leverage and who have the pull, that don't really know what they have sitting in front of them. And that's one thing that I never wanted to take for granted, is the fact that, like, this is it. I'm here with this great organization because Jeremy believed in me, Ryan believed in me. I'm here. Like, I need to capitalize on this, not selfishly, but because it's here for me to do it. And there's a few people in G&G who have done it. Jay's done it. Ryan's done it. I've done it. Mike's done it. So we realize that we are a part of something that is bigger than us, but let's capitalize on this to do something bigger and greater, but also create our own brand off of Geeks and Gamers. But none of us, all four of us, me, Ryan, Jay, and Mike, we would not have the audience that we have if it weren't for Geeks and Gamers. That's just the nature of the internet and YouTube and live streaming right now, because it's so saturated. Like, we wouldn't have anything if it weren't for Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah. Well, even right now, we got 86 people watching.
Let's
which is
go.
Insane.
That's
insane. So, I mean, appreciate everybody being here. Got Mighty Healthy, Cole Hauser, Mark Reality, Steven, JK. We got a lot of people. So appreciate y'all for being here. Bearded Society grows thicker, thicker, thicker.
Hell yeah.
But kind of going off of that, sort of the, taking advantage of your opportunities. I think that that's a really big thing that kind of holds people back in just life, is getting comfortable because of where they are. Maybe it's money, maybe it's other things. So kind of like taking it back to like, let's say your job back at the, why can't I think of the word?
Lumber?
The lumber yard. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word, but the lumber yard. If you had been making more money, do you think, like, let's just say a crazy amount, like, I don't know, 100, 200, some crazy amount, you're good, you don't.
I was making with bonuses included, I was making about $80,000 a year at the lumber yard at 24 years old.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, a number where it's like you can buy whatever you want, all that sort of stuff. Do you still think that you would have pursued it because it's maybe, like you said, a deeper something deeper that wasn't being fulfilled, I guess, by that other job? Or would you say, like, if you were more satiated, I guess, by money or whatever, that you may have just, like, kind of lived with it?
No, never. No.
Yeah,
because
I think that's
life is too short.
Yeah.
Life is too short. I would rather make $60,000 a year doing something that I love than make $200,000 a year doing something that I absolutely hate, that's making me sick, that I'm unhealthy, that I'm miserable doing, that I don't have any free time. I don't get to do what I want. I don't get to spend that money doing stuff I want because I have no time. I would rather make a significantly less amount of money than make a lot of money and be miserable, because you have one life. And if you have the opportunity to do something that you love, that is a job. It's a job, but it doesn't feel like a job. If you can do that, then that is always the way that you should go.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think, especially in this day and age where it's like entertainment, just anything, so many distractions, I feel like it's easier now for people to kind of just live with, let's say they're unhappy with their job or their life, whatever. It's easier for people to just kind of accept it and just, block it out with the entertainment and everything else and never really take those chances. But I think like people like you or a lot of other people, they're not okay with that, even if they, you know, there were other things that could take their mind off it. They're like, no, I'm not happy with that. But what would you say to people that are unhappy with their life, that want to change it, but you know, maybe it's easier to not try, or maybe it's easier to just, you know, keep everything easy versus taking the hard way?
I would say, what are you good at? Look at what you're good at that you also enjoy. What are you really good at that you find enjoyment in? And how can you profit off of that? How can you make money off of it? Because there's a lot of people who work dead end jobs. And here's the thing, there's people that work 9-to-5 jobs that absolutely love what they're doing. They love it. There's people that are out there on the construction yard and they love it. And we need those people. There's people who work the 9-to-5 corporate jobs and they're just slinging merchandise. They're whatever they're selling and they're good at it and they love it. And we need those people. So for the people who are working 9-to-5 that absolutely hate their job, they're just doing it because it's a paycheck. You got to think, what are you good at? What were you good at when you were younger? What did you love doing? And also, like in my case, I'll just speak from my case. What are people telling you that you're good at that isn't being applied at your job that you can apply elsewhere? Like I was told, I got the idea. I was on the phone with people and people are telling me, wow, you have a great voice. You have a radio voice. It sounds like you should be fucking broadcasting on Fox MLB. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I get that a lot. It'd be like almost every day. I'd be talking to somebody new on the phone trying to buy lumber. And they're like, wow, you sound like you should be on the radio. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing working here? I'm like, this is my job. And they're like, well, you should go down to a radio station. You should do a podcast or something. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? This is all things that I've already considered. They're telling me things that I have already told myself. So now it's just reassurance. Now it's just reassurance. Like I'm being told things that I've already told myself, and I'm hearing it from absolute strangers who don't even know what I look like. They're just hearing my voice. So I took that as you know, the compliments or whatever I'm getting, I guess if you want to call them compliments. And I'm like, you know what? If I think I'd be good at it and these other people think I'd be good at it, then maybe I'll just do it. And it's fun. It's fun. High Tide, I remember I was 22 years old and I was dating a chick. And I was just working at a vitamin shop. And she came from a rich family. Oh, she was in a rich neighborhood. Dude, she was, excuse me, she was, how old was I? I was 22 or 23. And she was 21. And she had a BMW. She living in a fucking mansion. And I'm just working a vitamin shop, dude. She's going to a university. And I'm just working a vitamin shop. I already quit college and but I'm dating her. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I kind of want to be a podcaster. This was before the lumber job. This was before anything. I'm just listening to Joe Rogan and Jeremy. I'm listening to Jeremy, Joe Rogan on YouTube. I'm like, I think it'd be pretty cool to be a podcaster. I think I could do it. And then not taken seriously, laughs and stuff like this. And I told this story to my mom. And every so often when I'm on the phone with my mom, she'll be like, hey, do you remember when you were dating that chick and you told her that you wanted to be a podcaster? She did it. And, you know, it was just kind of like, whatever, you know, you want to be a podcaster? She's like, and my mom will be like, look at you now. I'm like, it is kind of fucking crazy. You kind of got to pinch yourself a little bit. But anyways, to answer your question, find something that you love and find something that you're good at. And if you hate where you're at right now and you're still young, find it and pursue it and start it off as a hobby. Start it off as something that you do in your spare time. And then if you really love it and you still love it after doing it a long time, find a way to monetize it and do it. I wouldn't say do what I did. Don't do what I did. and quit your job and go unemployed and then do something while you and do the streaming or whatever it is and make no money while you're doing it. I did it the wrong way. I absolutely did the wrong way. I just got lucky that Jeremy, contacted me and he liked what I had and brought me into Geeks and Gamers. Don't do what I did. Keep your job and do what you want as a hobby until you can support yourself, because I did it absolutely the wrong way.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I got someone calling me like multiple times. I probably got to call them. So, Beardo, if you can take this for like 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. I got you. What up, Marc-Andre Roy says, I wanted to be a singer, but I got to pay the bills. Marc-Andre Roy, you got a voice? Huh? You got a voice? Jersey Dolphins says, Bearded Society. What up, Jersey Dolphins? Andre's Movie says, hi. General Duality says, hey, Mark and hey, Marc-Andre Roy. The Snolligoster says he's got the voice of God. I don't know about that, but thank you. Marc-Andre Roy says, there's times I love my job, but there's also other times. How's everybody doing? Cole Hauser says, so true, Beardo. Beardo speaks the truth. Thank you, Cole Hauser. Shout out to Cole Hauser. I see Nagranol in the chat. Virus, General Duality, Jay Byrne, Sean Lassich. What up, Sean? I'm sure the word hi being in your name has something to do with it. High tide. Cole Hauser says, you ready for some baseball, Beardo? I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. What up, Just JK says, hashtag Beardo takeover. You're damn right. You're damn right. So this is what it feels like when I have to go take a piss and I tell X-Wing that he's in charge. This is what it feels like, huh? What up, Mighty Healthy? Good to see you guys. Mark of Reality. How many viewers do we have right now? Let me go ahead and refresh. 82. Still strong. Make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys like the stream. Jay Byrne says, yes, this is what it feels like when I leave X-Wing alone. What up, Dan Jackson? Says, hail, Beardo. Hail to you guys. Dr. Butcher says, try running a martial arts studio when there's a martial arts place on nearly every corner. I bet. You see karate, taekwondo, Mitsubishi, Kawasaki on every single corner. I bet. Competition. Oh shit, I was muted. No, I'm here. Cole Hauser says, yeah, X-Wing, yeah, I'm muted. I get it. I'm not muted anymore. Cole Hauser says, yeah, but X-Wing says that jerk is gone and I'm in charge.
Yeah. All right, I'm back.
Okay. Can't take Beardo anywhere. I'll just send hi to chat. We still got 80 viewers over here, brother.
Yeah, it's crazy. All the Bearded Society, so shout out. Should everybody be here. Fear the muted.
I was muted for a sec. I had to blow my nose. I always have this rag over here I blow my nose with. I probably need to replace it. That? I probably need to replace it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how often do you watch that?
I'm always and just leave it there and put it there. Probably need to replace it.
Or, washing machine, that might work.
Yeah.
But what were some of the life lessons you'd say that streaming has taught you, if any? I'm sure there's plenty.
Oh, I've definitely matured in the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, I've definitely matured. So I'm 30 years old. Looking back, when I was 25, I probably would have said, I'm a man. I'm an adult. I don't think I was an adult until I was 29 years old.
Yeah.
Looking back, if probably around 29 is when I fully, truly turned into an adult man. I've been humbled a lot on the internet. A lot. I mean, you guys see it every single week on Tuesday Night's Main Event, man. I fucking get it, man. I get put through the ringer. I'm the joke. I'm fat. I'm gay. I'm bald. I sit on bananas. I eat corn the long way. I have skinny legs. My shirt's pink. I have Dorito body. You know, whatever it is, man. Whatever it is.
A pink shirt, but
I eat poop cookies. Whatever it is, man. Play Arkham City first. Whatever. And I get put through the fucking ringer. So I've been humbled a lot. Is some of it justified? Sure. Is most of it justified? Absolutely fucking not. But here's the thing. It's the internet and you're not in control of it. So you just kind of got to fucking roll with it and own it. It is what it is. Some people get taken very seriously and they're respected and it is what it is. And that's just how the public is going to perceive them. And then there's other people like me where it's like, we're going to make fun of this guy. And it is 100% out of your control. If you think it's in your control, you're a fool. Because if you try to control it, you're gonna get mocked even harder if you try to control it. So those are some lessons growing up and maturing, rolling with the punches, having thick skin. Because when I first started this, man, I had baby skin, baby soft skin. I was getting pissed that I wasn't being taken seriously. I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to be respected. And holy fuck. Holy fuck. So definitely maturing that way. The internet and live streaming has matured me that way to where you can't take things too seriously. You got to roll with the punches. People are memeing for the sake of memeing. Most of the time, I would say 98% of the time, people are joking and they're just giving you a good hazing. And 2% of the people actually probably mean it and hate your guts and want you dead. You just got to roll with it because it is what it is. It's the internet and you can't control it. So I think those are the lessons that I've learned is maturity and growing thicker skin is what I've learned.
Yeah. Well, Sean says, to be fair, the majority of people roasting you wouldn't do if they didn't think you or didn't like you and think you would take it. I think that's somewhat true, but I don't think it's, like Beer said, fully true, because there are people out there that will just say whatever just because they either hate you or they want to have you, you know, get down about something they said. But it's like, I don't know. What would you say, especially like for comments you can just tell straight up, like they are saying some of the craziest stuff. Like, how would you say you personally deal with that? Especially maybe not like now, but maybe at the beginning when you started getting those type of comments.
In the beginning, I would just ban them. I would just block them in the beginning. There's a few different answers to this. And what I've learned, it's funny how it works this way. Some of in the beginning, if somebody's new to your channel or new to you, if they're a hater, just a hater, what I've learned is that they hate you because they're new, you're new to them. It's like in real life when you see somebody, your friend introduces you to another friend that you don't know, but it's your friend's friend, and they're introducing you to them, and you see them, you're like, I don't fucking like that guy. I don't know him. I've never talked to him, but I'm just looking at his face, and I don't like him. But then you get to talk to him, have a few beers with him, you're hanging out, you're playing some beer pong, pool, whatever, you're just hanging out, and you're like, this guy's pretty cool. Yeah, I understand why he's my friend's friend. This guy's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It's like that. So when you're streaming and you just get a random hater in your chat, you've never seen him before, whatever, and they're just hating, most of the time, in my case, most of the time, in a few months, those people who are hating on you will become your biggest warriors. They will have your back, and they will be your biggest supporters. Some of those people who just start off hating, in a few months, they're like, you are awesome. I would welcome you in my home. Those people, because they just need to get to know you. They need to get to know you. But then there's other people. The other side of that coin is there's people who are just insufferable, who hate their own life, whether that's because they are working a dead-end job and they hate themselves, they're overweight, they have problems, they're still living at their mom's house, they're living in the basement, their diet is Cheetos, Mountain Dew, and alcohol. Like, there's people who are genuinely really upset with their life, who are just addicted to whatever substance, weed, drugs, alcohol, doesn't matter. And they hate their life and they hate seeing somebody successful. And you've never spoken to them. They've never met you. They've never had a conversation with you. And they just decided that is my biggest enemy. And there's no winning those people over. They are just going to hate for the sake of hating. And you can either just ignore them and allow them in your chat, or you just ban them. Done. I'm not going to put up with it.
Yeah. Well, I think I forgot the exact saying, but it's basically like haters are just fans in denial, essentially. That, at the end of the day, all that emotion, all that caring for you, it's basically like they're a fan. Even if it's just negative emotion, it's still emotion. They still care enough about you to stick around and watch you and be in your chat. So it's like they're really just a fan anyways. Like you said, eventually I think most people like that will realize that and be like, you know what, this guy's pretty cool.
100%. And those people who are haters in denial will wind up turning into your biggest fans.
Yeah.
And Mark Andre Roy's right. They hate people for not being as miserable as they are. That's the old saying. Misery loves company.
Yeah. That's like a lot of things. Like people want to bring you down to their level, essentially. Make them feel as bad as, or make you feel as bad as they do. That sort of thing.
Yep. 100%.
Steven says it's everybody else's fault, but my own brigade. Yeah. This is true. What about Ryan? He hates everything equally.
That's the funny thing about Ryan. Ryan on stream is completely different than Ryan in person. Ryan in person is actually fun to be around. Ryan is a good time to hang around with in person. It's just on stream. On stream, he's just, hates everything because it's either politics or political, something, movies and social justice and shit, virtue signaling. But in person, when you're hanging out with Ryan, he's a good time.
Yeah. Well, going back to sort of gaming and stuff, what would you say your top 10 games of all time would be?
Top 10?
Top 10. And I know there's like franchises and there might be multiple games. So like you want to just say the franchise and, not specific games. But if you have specific games from a franchise too.
I mean, you know what my number one is, right?
You
know my number one. Huh?
Resident Evil 2?
You can do better than that.
Okay, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I have nothing. I don't know.
Arkham City is my number one.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Yeah, I told you can do better than that.
Yeah, you're right.
Arkham City is my number one. Number one's Arkham City. Number two, if we're just, I'm going to try to do single games. Arkham City is number one. I would probably go Elden Ring 2. Elden Ring number 2. God of War 2018. God of War 2018 might be 3. Pokemon's got to be up there. Pokemon Emerald version or Pokemon Soul Silver. Those are probably my top Pokemon games of all time. Is Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Soul Silver. I'd put in the top echelon of Pokemon games. Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a good one.
Platinum was my favorite Pokemon.
Platinum's great. I do like Gen 4. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Platinum's great. But I think Soul Silver probably takes the edge on Platinum. But Emerald is special. Emerald's really special to me. Red Dead 2, that's a good one. there was something about Call of Duty Black Ops, the first one. The campaign, the multiplayer, and the zombies, there's just something about that. It was special. Back in the day, having the boys over, it's Friday night. Hey, come over. Bring your PlayStation. And I'm going to pull an extra TV up into my bedroom, and we're going to set up 2 PlayStations, and we're going to vibe it out on multiplayer and zombies. That was always a good time. Obviously, the Resident Evil franchise, one of my most favorite video game franchises of all time. Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil Village. I really like Village. Village gets slept on. Resident Evil Village gets slept on. It's a fantastic game. It's so good. So Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Village. What else do I really fucking enjoy? Arkham Knight. I really like Arkham Knight too. And Asylum. I think that would probably complete the list between Batman, Resident Evil, God of War, Pokemon, and Red Dead. Those are probably my upper echelon of video games of all time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go on my list, and I want you to give your opinion.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit different because I have a mixture of like some retro games.
If you couldn't tell, my list is single player games.
Okay.
And except for Call of Duty, I just love single player games, man. It's like I'm playing through a movie. I get to experience a movie, but I get to play it. I love single player games, man. And don't get me wrong, when I stream, playing multiplayer games is fun. It's really fun. But there's just something about streaming a single player game and getting to interact with the chat while you're going through a single player game. It's a different experience. And I've told you this on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, most of my games, even if it was single player, I was playing alongside someone, like either family or friends, you know. But my list has a mixture of both. So I'm not going to go in like numerical order. It's just kind of a random. I say Super Mario 3 on the NES, Legend of Zelda, because those 2 games are like sort of my first games that I played because my dad had a NES. Then I'd say probably Pokemon Platinum or Emerald. Those are probably like my 2 favorite Pokemon games.
Okay, respect.
Then I would say I was a big fan of Gears of War growing up. So I'd probably say Gears of War 3, probably.
Okay.
I was big into sports games too.
Madden.
Before they
sucked.
Old NBA 2Ks, Madden, even the NHL games I liked. I was a big fan of like sports games growing up. Like you said, Call of Duty, there's like pretty much all the first 3 Black Ops, I would say probably my favorite. Black Ops 3 might honestly be my favorite.
Black Ops 3, I think Black Ops 3 has the best zombies because it's got the most variety.
Yeah, and I love the multiplayer on that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like The Walking Dead, like those Telltale games. I was a big fan of those Telltale games as well.
I never got into the Telltale games. Never did.
Yeah, I saw someone ask you to play the Telltale Batman, and you said no to that.
It's just so I want to be in control of my own outcome. Like I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to just be clicking A to go through a story. You know?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I mean, there are like, you know, the quick time events where you got to like, you know, move it so that you hit something, that sort of thing. But yeah, for the most part, it is very much just like a playable movie sort of thing. But I think the stories, at least for like Walking Dead and such, are so good that it's a good experience either way. But those would probably be my sort of top 10 sort of games of all time.
Okay.
Did you ever play any retro games, really? Did you ever play on any of those?
Oh, yeah, dude. Pitfall. I played Pitfall a lot when I was a kid. You ever play Pitfall?
No, Never heard of it.
Pitfall, it's this dude, he's just running, and there's like, you know, there's sinkholes in the ground, and there's a swinging rope, and you have to time it. When the rope goes down, then your guy has to grab onto it and swing over, land back on the ground and stuff. Pitfall was fun. Dig Dug. Big Doug,
Yeah.
Pac-Man, Mario. I played Mario on the OG Game Boy more than I ever did on a actual Nintendo.
Mm.
I had the Super Mario Brothers Game Boy game, and I played that more than the Nintendo version. And then obviously the PlayStation 1, and the N64. But N64, like what I play the most on N64, everyone else is going to say GoldenEye. N64 for me was Pokemon. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 2, Super Smash Bros. Yeah.
Did you ever play Rogue Squadron on the N64?
I played a Star Wars game. That's Rogue Squadron is Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
I played a Star Wars game on PlayStation 1, and my memory is foggy, but I was flying a spaceship in space, shooting other enemies in space, but it was on PlayStation 1.
Could that have been the first Star Wars Battlefront?
No. Star Wars Battlefront was PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Both of them. Both Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 was PlayStation 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any of the maps were in space. It's basically like you're going around different planets, blowing up different bases, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's an interesting game, but
yeah, mine was like a space shooter game with spaceships, and you're flying through space shooting people.
I think there was
one of the first Star Wars games I played.
Yeah, I think there was a game called Jedi Starfighter or just Starfighter, something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Let's see. Snowboard Kids? I've never heard of that.
Snowboard Kids? I remember playing SSX3. SSX3. I played that on the PlayStation 2 a lot. Also, MX Unleashed. You ever play the motocross games? MX?
Yeah.
MX Unleashed was the perfect game. Great soundtrack, great game. I loved MX Unleashed.
Did you ever play Flash games? Because that just reminded me, there was this one Flash game where it's like
the Flash?
Side to side. Yeah, it was a BMX game, but Flash games.
Okay.
Like Flash games on the computer, like if you ever had like cool math games or just like other things where.
Oh yeah, well there was this one. What was it called? We talked about it on Main Event a few weeks ago. There was a math game. It was an educational game, but it was with like this math snow mountain game. Let me see if I can find it.
Do you know how little that narrows it down?
Treasure Math Storm.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Treasure Math Storm. I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
This was one of the first PC games that I've ever played. Treasure Math Storm. I played the fuck out of this game, dude. I loved it. And the thing is, when I was playing it, I didn't even think of it as a math game. It was just a video game to me, dude. It was so fun. How many of you guys in chat? Remember playing? Yeah, there you go. Remember playing Treasure Math Storm. This game was awesome, dude. Space Invaders X. Yeah, I played Space Invaders X a lot with my grandfather. My grandfather, he was old, but he knew how to play Space Invaders on the PlayStation 1, man. And I played Space Invaders with him a lot.
Nice. Do you have what are some of your like best memories, whether it is with your grandfather, just maybe friends, whoever, of playing games with other people?
Ooh. Yeah, definitely playing Space Invaders X with my grandfather and my mom. I played Pokemon a lot with my mom when I was younger. Like I like to tell this story a lot. That's like what I remember how I first learned how to read. But whether the internet likes to say that I know how to read or not, believe it or not, I used to sit in my mom's lap. She would have the Game Boy in her hands, and I would be holding it outside of her hands, and she'd be playing Pokemon, and then she would read, and we would go through it, and we would battle and stuff, and then she would tell me, now you do it, you read. because back in the day, those Pokemon games, there was no pressing pause and it was said, current objective, go here. It was like the old school Pokemon games. When you're talking to the NPCs in the game, they would tell you where to go. And once that conversation was over, it was over. You needed to remember it. You had no fucking clue where to go if you weren't paying attention. So my mom would tell me, okay, now you read it. And I would read what the NPCs are playing. I would read what the battle, like, no, choose your attack and, flamethrower, whatever. So I had that relationship with my mom where I played Pokemon for the first time. I remember, oh man, I must have been in 8th grade. I must have been in 7th or 8th grade. I can't remember. But me and my buddy, we went to go see a movie. And then on the way home, my parents took us to Blockbuster. We were having a sleepover. And my parents took us to Blockbuster and I rented Call of Duty World at War. And we stayed up all night playing co-op Call of Duty World at War campaign. And then we finished it. And we were like, okay, cool. We beat the game, whatever. What are we going to do next? Were we going to go to sleep? Whatever. And all of a sudden, the screen goes dark. And we hear the zombies making their noises. We're like, what the fuck is going on? And we see this zombie running at us at the fucking screen. And all of a sudden, we're thrown into Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck is this? The game had been out for like 3 days, and Blockbuster had a copy, so we rented it. And we beat the game, and all of a sudden we're in Nazi zombies. I have no clue what the fuck is going on. That was a fun memory of experiencing zombies for the first time. I think a lot of people in the chat, if you're from my generation, of not knowing and you're beating Call of Duty World at War, and then you just are put into zombies right after the campaign. It was a what the fuck moment.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've never experienced that. I don't even think I played World at War at all. I think
one of the best Call of Duties.
Yeah, I think the first Call of Duty, either Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops, which one of those came first, I think. But yeah, I mean, zombies is great. I mean, not so much nowadays, but
yeah. Well, the zombies is still good. At least in Black Ops 6, the Black Ops 6 zombies was still good. It's just the campaign and the multiplayer is gay.
Yeah, I stopped playing Call of Duty. I think the last one I played was either Black Ops 4 or World War II, whatever one was the last one. But yeah, I stopped playing after that because I was just like, this is not it anymore. And it seems like it's only gotten worse somehow. So
yeah, for sure. You're not wrong.
Steven says, the noise when the mystery box ends still haunts me. That laugh.
Yeah, the teddy bear? When the teddy bear? Yeah.
Yeah. But sort of speaking of those memories, I remember maybe not so much multiplayer games like you're talking about, but my friends would come over and we would basically, whether it was like GTA or other games or like just story games, like we would all just take turns. Like once you die, it's the next person's turn, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So those are some of like memories, or just like I said, some of those retro games with my dad, like the Star Wars game I was talking about, or Super Mario. That was a big one. So those sort of games.
I have a funny story. 2015, Arkham Knight. I was working at a pole position raceway. It's an indoor go-kart track. And Arkham Knight was coming out in July. I think I remember the date. This is fucked. I think it was July 15th. July 15th, 2025. Let me look it up. I'm saying July 15th, 2025. July 15th, 2015. Let me see if I'm right. July 15th, 2015. Arkham Knight release date. June. Fuck. I was way wrong. June 23rd, 2015. I was close.
Ago.
I was close. So it was summer. It was June 23, 2015. Anyways, I'm working at a pole position raceway. Several weeks before, probably months before, I put in 3 days off. Don't schedule me on these 3 days because I'm going to be playing Arkham Knight. I didn't say as my excuse I'm playing Arkham Knight. I just took 3 days off. The week of, the schedule comes out, and they gave me the first day off, but the following 2 days I worked. And I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? And they're like, oh, well, we made a mistake, whatever excuse. Like, we made a mistake. I'm like, well, can you change it? They're like, no, the schedule's out. We already let the people know. We already let the people know what day they work and what day they don't work. And I'm like, but why is that my problem? That's your problem.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do. So you know what I did?
Called in sick.
I fucking quit.
I mean, fair enough, yeah.
I fucking quit.
Yeah.
Like a month or 2 months in advance, I put 3 days off in a row so I can play Arkham Knight. And they gave me the first day. And I was like, okay, well, I guess you're fucked. I fucking quit. They're like, there's nothing we can do. You have to work. I'm like, well, now you really have a problem on your hands because I quit. So now you're going to have to fucking call these people in anyways because I ain't fucking working. That was fun. That was fun.
Did they try to, like, you know, make it better after that? They're like, oh, no, you can have it all. Or they just, like, forget about it now?
Nope. I just fucking quit.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So how it was is I worked up until the last day, which was the midnight release for Arkham Knight, and then I was scheduled to have the following day off. But then after that following day, I was scheduled to work the 2 days after that. So I worked the last shift of that night to the midnight release, and then after that, I just fucking walked out, never showed back up. Fucking quit.
Dang. Yeah, Jay, the man tried to get you, Beardo.
I know, dude. I know. That fucking bitch, Kevin. His name was Kevin. He was a fucking real, he was a real twat.
Hey, I guess to kind of go off of that, because I forgot who said it. Someone in my chat was talking about how, you know, they get a lot more work than they really should, and they're kind of feeling like they're underpaid or, you know, doing more than their coworkers that are getting paid about the same. How would you say to kind of like deal with maybe that or just other sort of bad workplace environments? Because you can't always just quit, you know what I mean?
Have a conversation. And what I've learned as I've gotten older and gotten more mature, there's no benefit to getting angry and having an angry, heated conversation. You're not going to get anywhere. And that goes with a lot of things, whether like a store messed up something that you bought or you're trying to return something. If you're trying to return something, they're like, well, there's no return policy. There's no benefit to getting angry. You're not going to get your way. But if you're nice with them, if you're nice and you say, hey, you know, for example, if you go to a store and you're trying to return something, there's no return policy. Say, hey, this is my favorite store. I always shop here. You guys are great. I have never not once had any problem. This shirt don't fit me, or my daughter didn't like it. It was a birthday gift. My daughter didn't like it. I'm just trying to exchange it for something else. This is my favorite store. I always shop here. Is there anything that you can do? Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they're going to help you out. But if you go in there fucking hot-headed and you're angry and you're cussing them out and you're calling them everything, you are not going to get your way ever. Nothing. So if you're in like a hostile work environment, or if you're getting underpaid, or if you're undervalued and stuff, there's always a benefit to having a good, clean, healthy conversation. Either pull them aside in person, have a phone call, whatever, and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking. I love working here. Everybody's great, but this is what's going on, and here's my feelings about it. And this, and give them an example of something. Provide them with a solution. Say, here's how I think we can make this better. And if you're cool, calm, and collected, and you're nice, most of the time, you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big thing too, is, you know, some people feel like they can't have that conversation. You know, they're scared of their boss or scared of this and that. But I think that if you truly are scared of that, you might want to just find a different job if you can't have that kind of conversation.
Or just
that's
man
going to
up.
lead to, well, that's true.
And if you man up and you do it and you do have the conversation, and you are nice, cool, calm, and collected, level-headed, and pretty reasonable, and you're not getting anything, then yeah, fucking put in your 2 weeks notice and put out some applications out there to find a new job.
Yeah, well, that's what I was kind of saying is like if you're scared of that, and if you talk to them, they don't like give you anything back. They're not, actually trying to have that conversation. Then yeah, you probably should look for a different job, look for a different boss, because that's going to lead to a lot more issues down the road, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But sort of going back to like your childhood, what would you say are some of like the most impactful moments as a kid? Whether it's like, there's plenty of moments where it's like put your hand too close to the fire, you learn that lesson. What are some moments like that where you like learn some valuable lessons in your childhood?
That's a good question. I don't know, man, because I had a pretty good childhood. I was lucky enough that my parents are still married, that I was raised in a house and a family where my parents loved each other, my grandparents were around. I know I'm one of the lucky ones where I had a really good solid childhood. So a lesson, oh man. Okay. I can think of one thing, I guess. Hopefully this makes sense for the question. I remember the first time I was ever going to play football, because I'd only played baseball. And I remember I was in seventh grade, and I was going to go play Pop Warner football. And I was on the team, and I was bigger than everybody else. And I wanted to play quarterback, and I was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And at the very first, I think I practiced with them for 2 days. And they were already having me at quarterback and running plays and stuff like that. And I was just like the guy. And the commissioner of the Pop Warner League walks over across the football field, goes over, pulls me and the coach aside and says, "Hey, he's too old. His birthday is a week before the cutoff. Believe it or not, a week before the cutoff. He has to go up to the older kids team." And I went from being the guy and I was gonna play and I was gonna be the fucking guy to going to the older kids team, and I was bench warmer. Nothing. Because they already had everything. They had the guys from the previous year who were waiting, and then it's the current year, and they already have their squad, their starters and everything, and I got pulled up and I was already 2 practices late. They were already practicing with those kids for a few days. So now we're bringing up this kid from the younger team up to the older team, and I rode the bench, and I just had to be patient, because the next year after that, then I was the guy. I was the guy after that. So I just had to, that one was a big one when I was a kid, having to mature and realize it's like, hey, shit happens and it's out of your control, and you just got to roll with it and wait and just wait. The dues will be paid, but sometimes you just gotta wait.
Yeah. Well, what about your older years, whether it's teenage or like maybe early 20s? What would you say maybe some moments in those years, if you can think any, like the big lessons that life might have taught you?
Big lessons. I think when I got to high school, especially my junior and senior year, I prioritized smoking weed more than I prioritized sports. And I wish I probably would have prioritized sports more. And I was still good. I was still playing and stuff, but I think I probably could have been a little bit better if I wasn't worried about after practice where me and the boys going to go smoke weed. I wish I probably, that's probably one regret. But here's the thing I feel about regrets. I wouldn't be where I'm at now if the things that happened before didn't happen. Like,
yeah, that's totally true.
Like, yeah, would it have been great if I would have been a collegiate pitcher for baseball? Yeah, sure, that would have been fine. That would have been fun. Would have been great if I played college football. Yeah, that'd have been fun. But would I be where I'm at now? Would I trade anything that I have now and sacrifice that, knowing that I wouldn't have it if I would have done something else? I don't think so. So there's things that you can look back on and be like, man, I should have probably done this better. But then you also take a second look at it and say, yeah, but if I didn't do those things, then would I be where I'm at right now? What I have right now? Am I willing to sacrifice that? That's another question you have to ask yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big thing. Kind of going back to what you're talking about, lesson you learned when you were younger with the sports team is like, if you don't learn that lesson of, things happen, sometimes you have to wait, that sort of thing. If you got that opportunity, right, you never learned that lesson, what would that have caused you later down the road? Would that lesson be even more painful? You have a bigger crash out because you're no longer the guy and, that sort of thing. So kind of what you're saying is like, I think a lot of people do have regrets, but they kind of miss the point of, you've learned something from it and that changed you, and hopefully that leads you into better things in the future. Whereas if you didn't have that happen, it could have changed your course for a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Beardo's NFL dream crushed.
Dude, there was a point I was like, dead ass, I'm going Division I college football.
Yeah.
For real, dude. And I wasn't the only one, man. I had coaches, and they're like, we're getting the film out, this guy, Division I. And then, moving across country from Pennsylvania to California, starting over again at a new high school and stuff. And then, things, politics, good old boy system and stuff like that. And then obviously prioritizing smoking weed and with the buddies and stuff who are also on the football team. Shit happens.
Yeah. Well, sort of the same thing though, you might look back and regret that, but you learn a lesson, maybe even a bigger lesson than just smoking weed. It's just like, take things more serious, don't kind of get distracted. If you have a dream like you had, right, then chase the best of your ability. And I think maybe you could say that's what translated to with the streaming. It's like you kind of learn that lesson, right, from not wanting to smoke weed because it might have, hindered your football, and be like, you know what, the streaming thing, I'm going all in, no distractions, and kind of block that stuff out throughout that journey.
Right. 100%.
Sort of going, because I forgot what stream it was. It might have been earlier today that you did with the whole looks maxing thing that is now sort of becoming popular. What would you say, like, your opinion on that is? Like, how much do you think is just like straight up, just if you have it, you have it, can't really work on much? Or would you say like, oh yeah, you can make this big change? And we're not talking like, of course, if you're, super overweight and that sort of thing, I think you can make big change then, right? But if just regular people, do you really think there's that much that you can really do about your looks?
As far as like your facial aesthetic?
Yeah, or just in general, that sort of thing.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely things you can do. You can work out your jaw for sure. Losing weight and exercise is obviously a big part of it. And, having a low body fat percentage. But also, like, if you want to improve your looks and stuff, like, you got to figure out what styles are good for you. What hairstyle works good for you? What kind of facial hairstyle works good for you? And I'm just speaking for men specifically. Figure out what kind of facial hairstyle, if you look better with just the 5 o'clock shadow, the stubble look, if you look better with just a mustache, or if you want to rock the full beard, goatee, whatever it is. I mean, that's definitely a facial enhancement that you can work on. But if we're just going like facial structure, there's jaw exercises you can do. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the ball that you can chew on to strengthen up your jaw muscles and stuff. There's also like these rubber things that you put in the back of your mouth and you chew on them and stuff and work out your jaw. It's the same thing. That I wouldn't go as far as hurting yourself like this motherfucker, what's his name, Clavicular, where he's taking a hammer and gently beating his cheekbones and his jawbones to build up like I don't know what he's doing to break down some of the bones, and the bones grow back thicker. I would not recommend hurting yourself. But I don't know. I don't know. I think that there's, like I said, just to repeat myself, there's things you can do, the right haircut, the right facial hairstyle, and also if you want to get a stronger jawline and stuff, you can work on getting the rubber chew thing where you can work out your jaw muscles and stuff. But other than that, man, boils down to genetics. You're born with what you got, man.
Yeah. Well, I think it's sort of in the same vein as a lot of these celebrities getting plastic surgery and such. Like, there's a fine line between like doing a little bit and then you're just like changing everything and doing permanent damage, you know?
Right. I think plastic surgery is the worst that you can do to your face. Now, there's some people who are just very unfortunate where they just have a fucking wicked hooked nose, and that's just the way you were born. And of course, plastic surgery to get a nose job is going to make your life a whole lot better. You're going to be more comfortable. You're going to get better opportunities, whether that's at a job or dating or whatever it is. Like, sometimes you just get unfortunate and you're just born with a wicked fucking nose. And, you know, getting a nose job might help you out. But almost 95% of the time, plastic surgery is not the answer, especially when it comes to your face.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's so many actors and just celebrities. I mean, I guess now you could throw in the whole Ozempic thing, which I didn't even think about until now, but it's in the same vein. It's like people are trying to attain an image in their head of like what they would look perfect as, that they're just going to the most extreme lengths that they
put
can.
In the work. Just put in the work.
Yeah.
How about that? Put in the work.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Exercise more and eat less.
Yeah.
Exercise more, eat less. And eat more good food. Put in the work. Giving yourself a fucking Ozempic shot to lose weight, like you're not fixing any of your bad habits. The bad habits are still there. You're not fixing any of the mental. Like, you need to have mental strength to like work out, build muscle, gain that physique for the aesthetic. But when you just take Ozempic, like, you're not fixing any of the fucking mental issues, the mental illness that you might have, whether that's, or the addictions, drinking the soda, drinking the eating the sweets, eating the candies and the Pop-Tarts and the cupcakes, and drinking the Diet Cokes and stuff. Like, you're not fixing any of those problems when you take Ozempic. You have to be mentally tough to change those bad habits.
Yeah, I think I saw a documentary trailer the other day. It was if you remember the show Biggest Loser. Do you remember that show?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it all the time. Jillian Michaels.
Yeah, it's basically this guy. My bad, I did.
What?
It's basically this guy. My bad. It's basically this guy who won the thing, lost like 200-300 pounds, right?
And gained it all back.
And he looks basically the same as when he lost, or, you know, started that whole thing.
Right.
And it does come down to, like, I mean, during that show, I'm doing extreme stuff, but it ultimately comes down to they're doing this extreme stuff and not really, like you said, fixing their addictions, not really getting rid of the bad habits and putting in good ones. It's just, let's lose weight as fast as possible, do all this crazy stuff, you know?
Well, yeah,
that's the big thing is like
the show with The Biggest Loser is, there's a few things that go into that. It's competition. So they're competing, and you can be competitive by nature. So when you're put into that environment where everybody's reaching the same goal, and you're a competitive person, and now your goal is to compete on losing all this weight, yeah, you're going to try to win. Especially when there's a cash prize at the end, yeah, you're going to try to win. But you and you're in this environment where there is no sweets. So they put you in these cabins or these condos or whatever, where there's no junk food, there's no bad stuff, and you are forced to eat good. You're forced to work out every single day. Like, there's no saying no. Like, you're on the show. You have to go do these exercises. You have to go do this stuff. You have to eat what they give you on this diet for the show. But then once you're out and you're back at home, back in that environment where you have total free will, where you can buy whatever the fuck you want, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. Like, yeah, you're going to fall right back into that same routine because you're not in the environment where everything is controlled for you.
I want to highlight this real quick, just because we were sort of talking about this earlier. It's just kind of funny. What the fuck is this BS? High Tide must be a personal friend of Beardo, because no way. Yeah, my bad you tuned in during the 5 seconds where I had to clear my throat and had a little misstep. My fault, buddy. We're only an hour 40 in. Come on, man.
Is that what he's talking about?
A little bit of slack.
High Tide must be a personal friend of Beardo. I think he's talking about me being on your show.
That might be true, but I took that more as like he just tuned in when I did that. I was like, come on, man.
I don't think that's what it was. I think he's saying High Tide must be a personal friend of Beardo because there's no way Beardo would come on. Which,
no, but it was just kind of funny how we were talking about like the haters earlier.
Sure, yeah, sure.
So that's why I brought that up.
Mr. Spaceman, you will be one of High Tide's biggest fans here in a few weeks. Trust me.
Right. He's gonna keep coming to my streams like, what the hell is this?
Until one day he's gonna be like, High Tide's the fucking coolest.
I think Jester brings up, I think this is probably, I mean, it kind of goes to what we were saying, but this is like the number one key to success is discipline and consistency.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, with the smoking weed thing, that's discipline. And then like you said, with your streaming, consistency, right? It's really those two things that will dictate your life no matter what you're doing. It's just, are you disciplined enough? Yeah, anything. Because are you disciplined enough to block out the distractions, do what you have to do, and then are you consistent enough at it? Because you can do something for 5 days, a week, a month, and just give up, never see anything of it, or you keep at it even though you see no results, be consistent, and that's the only way you're ever going to get anywhere. So I think those are the two biggest factors to how your life is going to play out is discipline and consistency.
100%. And that's why I'm a firm believer in youth sports. Putting your children, boy or girl, doesn't matter. Put your children in youth sports because it is very important to have your child be disciplined by somebody other than their parents, by you, the parent. Having a complete stranger who is now in charge of your kids, who is going to call you a fucking fat piece of shit, go run a lap, like, that is mental strength, that's discipline, and like, and obviously practice and games, it's consistency. And if you're not good at it, guess what? You're not going to fucking play. You're not going to do it. And when you're put in that environment, you want to play. You want to do it. You want to compete. If you're competitive by nature like I was, you want to compete. You want to play. So putting your children in youth sports at a very young age, like literally starting at like 4 or 5 years old, put them in youth sports all the way up until high school. And maybe, God willing, they're good enough to compete at the college level. That is going to build a tremendous amount of discipline.
Yeah, I do think sports is something that every kid should do as far as they can do it, because like you said, there's so many different things you can learn from it that a lot of kids should learn from it. And if they don't have that, I don't know where else they would necessarily get it, It's not, I don't know if you would get the same thing from like a club or like other things like that, even like chess.
Like chess or band.
Yeah, like I don't see where you get a lot of the same lessons, especially like like you were saying, like perseverance, like I think that kind of comes with competitive sports, is like you have to persevere through a lot of different things, Oh
yeah. But especially when you're not good, or like you're the youngest one and everybody else is a grade or two ahead of you. Imagine being a 6th grader and your birthday lines up on the cutoff date, and now you're competing against 8th graders and 7th graders, but you're in 6th grade, but you happen to be the oldest kid in 6th grade. But when it comes to organized youth sports, they have a date cutoff. You can either be on this team or this team based off of your age, and you could be a 6th grader, 12 years old, but you're now competing against 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
So and now you have to persevere, wait, strength, like man, a 12-year-old physically going up against a 14-year-old, so it's toughness for sure.
Yeah, and Jay Burton brings up a good point too. Don't be afraid to fail either, because it's
100%.
like, I think that's a big thing. It's not, of course, just sports. It's in anything. I think that's the biggest thing that holds people back is the fear of failing. What if I don't make it happen? What if this doesn't happen? What if I'm not good enough? What if this? What if that? It's just one of those things of like, you gotta just do something, because if you're doing nothing, then nothing's gonna happen, right? So you want to just have nothing happen, because that's what's gonna happen if you do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other outcome. So
most of the time, if you fail, it's a good learning lesson, and the people in charge of you, whether it's a job or sports or something, school, if you fail, you're gonna get another opportunity to prove them wrong and to do it right the next time.
Yeah.
The true failure is quitting.
Yeah.
Is giving up. And I'm not quitting I'm not saying quitting a stupid job, a part-time job, and you're like, I quit, I'm going to go do something else. I'm talking like quitting because you don't believe in yourself and I can't do this, so I'm going to quit. That is the true failure.
Yeah, well, like you're saying, failure is really the only way to learn. I think, again, going back to sports, that's kind of, or just anything competitive, that's the biggest thing you learn very quickly, is that when you're winning, you're not thinking too much about maybe your process, what you're doing. It's just like, I'm better and I'm winning. That's all I care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose, then you start to think, okay, what did I do wrong? What could I improve? What do I need to work on? That sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is like, you have to fail in order to grow. You can't just be scared of failure, because you're ultimately just scared of growth,
And that's just problem solving at that point. And that's what men do best, is problem solving. That's what we like to do. We like to solve puzzles. We like to solve problems. If there's a problem in your relationship, or a problem with your brother, or a problem with your parents, or whatever, problem solve, talk about it. Like, what did I do wrong that upset you? What did you do wrong that upset me? Or where did I fail at? Well, what did I do in this algorithm? Or what did I do at work that I failed at this? Okay, here's where I failed. Now I'm going to fix it. But when you fail and you're like, nah, this is too hard, I can't do it, that's when you really fail, is when you quit.
Yeah.
It's all about problem solving.
Yeah. Was there ever a time in your life that you did feel like quitting at something, or like, you're like, man, I'm just not good enough, I'm just, tired of this and that?
Yeah. My sophomore year of high school, I didn't like what was going on with the football team. New coaching staff, and coaches who preferred other players. And this kind of happened throughout high school, sophomore, junior, senior year. Politics play a lot into it. And if you guys have ever played high school sports, there's a lot of politics, good old boy systems where I taught this kid in my class and I like this kid, and now I'm a football coach, and now I already have this relationship with this kid, and now he's on the team and I like him, so I want him to do good, so I'm going to play him over this kid who's more talented. This kid is more talented than him, but I already like this kid more than him, so I'm going to play him anyways. So yeah, there was definitely those moments in high school where there's an unfair advantage that some of these teammates had because of who they knew and who the coaches were and stuff like that. But that just happens. That happens, and that's something that you just got to deal with too.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Spaceman's back. Says, if you fail way too much, though, you're probably never going to make it. I sort of understand what you're saying, but I think ultimately that's just not true, because it's like the only way you're ever going to succeed is by failing pretty much as much as you can, right? Because you're going to consistently learn what you have to change. So honestly, the more you fail, the better. Now I get like, yeah, you might have certain windows of time. Like let's say with sports, right? You're probably only going to have so many years of being able to, if you want to become a college athlete or even pro, you're only going to have so many years to do that, right? But I think it's still the same thing. You fail a lot and you grow from it. I think you give yourself a better shot, to be able to actually do something versus if you're not doing anything, you're not failing, then I think you're farther away than the person that's failing.
And you learn. You have to learn. And if you don't learn, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's a you problem because now you're refusing to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing, kind of going back to what you're saying with like regrets, right? I think that's probably what most people regret is that they didn't learn from their mistakes and they knew better, right? It's one thing to like make a mistake, the first time I didn't know, that sort of thing. But then when you do it again, it's like, who do you really have to blame? You can't blame ignorance, right? You only got yourself to blame.
Yourself.
So I think that's the big thing is like people just don't like to face that. It's like, man, I'm the one that messed up,
Absolutely.
What do you think of the whole like black pill thing or like the different pill stuff? You ever heard of that?
Yeah, but I don't know what each pill is. I don't know what black pill is. Like, I don't know what red pill is. I don't know what each one means.
Yeah, it's another, I've heard it. Like one of these like new things that has like kind of popped up in the last few years of like, it's basically just like a train of thought of like, I think the black pill is basically like a doom and gloom, like, oh, everything is bad and, I'm just bottom of the barrel and that's all I'll ever be. And then like, there's all these different pills and stuff, but it's like, especially with the black pill, I've seen this kind of become more popular is like people are just more on this like doom and gloom path of like, almost to the whole looks maxing thing of like, if they don't feel like they reach this standard, then they feel like their life is essentially over and they're just bottom of the barrel and that sort of thing. Is crazy. But I've sort of seen online with that.
I think it's just labels. It's just labeling. And these people, the younger generation and liberals, and unfortunately conservatives do it too. It's just labels, man. It's just labels. Everybody peaks at a different time. Everybody has a different starting point. But that's where we get into the argument of equality and equity and stuff. So I think it's just labels, man. Everybody has their own journey. So I don't really buy into the I'm black pilled and stuff like that. How about we just form our own opinions? Just form your own opinions, man. And then, proceed.
Yeah. Now, I know it's kind of like a totally different thing, but I was thinking about this the other day. Why do you think certain like movie action heroes work versus others? Now, like, because I was thinking, let's take Jason Statham, right? He doesn't necessarily fit the sort of mold of like, let's say Arnold, right? But he still is kind of on the level of like, an action hero. Do you think for men, at least, for like movie heroes or just heroes in general, is it more so about like, stature, build strength, or is it skill? Because I feel like Arnold is more like stature, strength, whereas like Statham or like, let's say Keanu with John Wick is more about like skill. You know what I mean?
I think obviously being, as far as these action movie actors, the biggest thing is you have to be convincing, right? You have to be convincing. Yeah. You have to believe that this person is doing these things, but also athleticism. If they're doing their own stunts, that's even better. But you have to convince the audience that this person is capable of doing these things. Like you wouldn't put Seth Rogen in an action movie because nobody's going to fucking believe it. Like, okay, sure. Jonah Hill. You're not going to put Jonah Hill in an action movie where he's out there kicking ass. But when you have the Chris Pratts, the Tom Cruise, the Cavills, the Jason Stathams, the Sylvester Stallones and such, like you need to convince the audience, but also, you need to perform. You need to be doing your own stunts for most of the time and be athletic, but convincing is, I think, the number one.
Now, what would you say is the convincing sort of factors? Is it, I mean, I think probably number one has to be sort of how in shape you are, right? Like if you seem like you're physically capable, I should say.
Mhm.
I think it's
Mhm.
probably number one, right?
Yeah, I would say physical, muscular, but also like you have to have the look, like the aesthetic, like the strong face, the eyes, and like it's really like right here. It's this triangle, the pizza slice right here, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth and stuff. Are you convincing enough to be an action hero? And that's where it is with your expressions and stuff when you're fighting, when you're having a conversation in the movies and stuff. I think that's what's really convincing is this area right here, plus the physique.
Yeah. Now, for you, I guess, what would be some of your favorite action movies or just like manly movies? I know you got the whole, manly as fuck movies and all that sort of stuff. What would you say your sort of like, I guess, what was do top 10 lists or top five, whatever you want to do?
Rocky. Rocky's number
Rocky.
one. Rocky. Definitely Rocky. Fuck. Because, man, I've seen so many. I mean, Rocky's just, it's so inspirational, and it's more than just a sports movie. It's also a romance movie, too. It's the underdog story, this guy who's never gotten a chance, and then he finally gets his chance, and he perseveres. He takes advantage of it. And even a Rocky 1, why I love Rocky 1 so much, is he realizes that I'm not going to beat him, but I can at least go the distance because nobody's ever gone the distance with Apollo Creed. And I know I'm not going to beat him. Everything is stacked against me. But if there's one thing I can do, is I can go the distance against him, something that nobody's ever done. And that's what he does. Such a beautiful movie. So Rocky would be my number one. I do like the Mission Impossible movies. They're fun. I love the Mission Impossible movies. John Wick's great. I like the John Wick movies. Terminalist, the TV show with Chris Pratt, great show. But if I had to say pick one, like just manly as fuck, definitive, just covers all the bases, it has to be Rocky for me.
Yeah. Well, Texas Goon said my answer, Predator, probably is
Predator
up there. Yeah. I'd say he's got everything in it,
Definitely.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, like I said, the movies are pretty good. Trying to think. Now, here's a question for you. Does a manly movie have to necessarily be an action movie?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
No, because I wouldn't consider Rocky an action movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, no, manly as fuck movie does not have to be an action movie.
Okay. Well, I guess to kind of go off of that, what would you define masculinity as, or like how would you define something as, like if you see it, you're like, oh, that's manly.
Stoicism.
Okay.
Stoicism. How collected are you when push comes to shove, when you're in a difficult situation? How stoic are you? Are you losing your cool? Are you going just ballistic? Are you yelling? Are you shouting? Are you threatening people? Or are you cool, calm, and collected and using your words and using your words to define your strength? Because saying, if a big guy gets angry at you and says, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you, I don't see that as strength. But if you are the big guy or whatever, and something happens, if you're in a dangerous situation, I think using your words in a cool, calm, and stoic way, that shows strength and maturity and masculinity more than threatening somebody with violence does.
Yeah. How control are you of your emotions, essentially? All right.
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Jay Burns says security. I think that's pretty good. I mean, says how secure you are with yourself. I think that kind of just plays into the whole emotional control.
Yep. Yes. I would say security falls underneath the umbrella of stoicism.
Yeah. Because if you're in control of your emotions, I think that kind of you'd have to be more secure with yourself if you're, emotionally stable.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you're saying with the guy that wants to fight you. He's probably less secure with himself and everything else than
And that's
someone
why he wants to do it.
Yeah.
Is because he feels like he has something to prove.
Yeah.
Because he's insecure. He needs to prove something to himself. He needs to prove something to his girlfriend, to his buddies, to his father, whoever it is. He feels like he needs to prove something. Where the stoic person who is confident in whatever it is, in their emotions, in their person, their being, they don't resort to that. They'll resort to talking it out. And most of the time, if you are a big-bodied person and you are strong, athletic, trained, or whatever, you're going to use your words and stoicism first. And most of the time, that will convey to whoever it is that you have a dispute with that you're in charge and we're going to settle this way rather than resorting to violence.
Yeah. Now, would you say, because I think I've heard you say a couple different things on this, but would you say it's okay for men, I don't know if I should say to show emotions or to have emotions, but I guess we'll start with like to show emotions, I guess. Do you think that's never?
Never.
Okay.
Never. Well, emotions is kind of broad.
Well, yeah.
You can be loving to your spouse, to your girlfriend or your wife. You can be loving, but don't be overly loving, because that's going to just hurt you. That's going to hurt the relationship in the long run, because women can say whatever they want because they're going to lie to you and they're going to lie to themselves. You can't be overly lovey-dovey with women because you're going to turn them off. Women want the chase. Women want the challenge. They want the chase. They want the mysterious guy. They don't want the nice guy. They want the good guy. And being a good guy doesn't mean that you're nice. If somebody steals my girlfriend's purse and I beat the fuck out of them to get it back, that wasn't a nice thing I just did. Yeah. Beating up the guy, that was not a nice thing. But that was the good thing. That was the good thing to do. Women don't want a nice guy. They want a good guy. Always be the good guy. But when it comes to emotions like crying or woe is me, being depressed and something's going on, bottle that shit up. Bottle that shit up. Put it fucking deep down inside and don't fucking talk about it. Because unless there's somebody, not your girlfriend or wife, but unless there's somebody, maybe your mom or your dad or a really good friend who you can trust, you can tell. But there's a reason why wiser men before us told us to suck it up and be a man. We've all heard it. Men in the chat, we've all heard it when we were kids. Suck it up and be a man. Don't ever let somebody see you cry. That's not just because like they're trying to be fucking tough guys. That's because men, much wiser men before us, over the past several centuries, have learned this and have been told from their fathers and then the fathers before them and the fathers before them to suck it up and be a man, because they've learned. They've learned, and they're trying to learn us too. When men get emotional, bad things happen. Violence. Violence against yourself, violence against other people. You hurt somebody, you hurt your girlfriend, you hurt your wife, you hurt a stranger, something. When you are emotionally unstable as a man, bad things happen. That's why you bottle that shit up and you keep it inside and you don't let anybody fucking see it. Because men, we're strong. We're strong and we're capable of doing some pretty fucked up shit. That's why you always keep it in, and you just have, and it goes back to stoicism, be stoic. Even if you're upset, you don't yell, you don't shout, and you just keep it in and you don't get violent, because we are capable of really bad things. So I think as men, one, with what I just said, but also when it comes to being emotional with women and love, you can show love, but don't be doing too much, bros. Boys, don't be doing too much, because you're going to turn her off. You're going to turn the chick off because she's got you. If you're doing everything, oh, Yes, wife, what can I do for you next? Oh, you want me to do this? You want me to do that? What chore can I do next? What can I do for you now? What do you want me to buy for you? You're just going to turn her off, and she's in complete control. She owns you after that. You need to stand your ground and be able to tell a woman no sometimes. So, yeah, I'm, as far as like being a good, solid, stoic man, most of the time, keep your emotions to yourself.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever have you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
Uncle
whole way
Iroh.
through. Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably like the best example from not only that show, but a lot of cartoons is like being someone that's truly stoic, you know, that truly is in control of their emotions, you know, has every reason to have, you know, outbursts, be not in control of their emotions, but, you know, controls it. But sort of wanted to talk to the point that you just sort of made about like sharing emotions with women, because I want to talk to you about this. I don't know exactly how to word it, but it might be a little bit of a spicier topic, I guess. Like you usually say, you know, the rule, not the exception, right? As a rule, this is kind of like, I don't know exactly how to put it, but do you think in most romantic relationships there is true love? Now, what I mean by that is, you know, love is usually defined as like unconditional, right? And a lot of times you'll see like divorce reasons being like money and stuff like that, right? Meaning that that person was really there because of that condition, and once that condition wasn't fulfilled, they leave them. So do you think that that's kind of indicative of like in most relationships there's not really true love, but it is more of a what you can do for me sort of thing?
Men are capable of unconditional love. Women are not, for the most part. But that's the rule, not the exception. Obviously, there are plenty of grade A, awesome women out there who do love unconditionally, who would sleep with you in a box underneath a bridge and live with you in a box under a bridge, waiting for you to get your shit put together. But that's, unfortunately, nowadays, that's the exception, not the rule. When the money dries out or something, if the flame goes away or you're not pulling your weight or what she thinks you should be pulling, then she's going to go out and she's going to cheat or something, and she's going to leave you. And when women leave, most of the time when women leave, they only leave when they have the backup plan. They already have the other dude lined up when they leave. But men, we can walk into a Chipotle and see the chick scooping the fucking steak into our bowl and be like, that's my wife. Like, men are unconditional. Men aren't looking for what can she do for me. But women are like, he needs to be 6 foot. He needs to make $100K a year. He needs to have a car. He needs to have a house. And like, those are the conditions. Women are looking for conditions in a man. Most of the time, that's the rule. But with men, we don't give a fuck. You can work at fucking McDonald's. But if you're a 9 working at McDonald's, we will fucking wife you up. It don't fucking matter.
Well, what you just said, though, I mean, Spaceman says, no, there isn't except from God, which I was going to say, like, kind of to what you just said, though. You just said, you know, we'll go into Chipotle, but as long as you're a 9, isn't that a condition?
Well, I mean,
right? So like, doesn't it go a little bit both ways, that men and women kind of have certain conditions that, like, if they're not met, you know, that sort of doesn't work? That makes sense?
Well, I mean, yes and no, because obviously there's conditions, because you're not going to marry a fucking ugly chick. Like, you're when somebody's getting into a relationship, you're dating because that's somebody that you want to fuck. Like, you're not marrying somebody to be their best friend, to be their buddy and their pal. Like, you're going to marry a chick because, yeah, I could sleep with her for the rest of my life. I'm not wrong. You're dating somebody because you look at them and you say, yeah, I could fuck them for the rest of my life and I'm not going to get tired of it. So yeah, like obviously you're not going to marry somebody who's unattractive and that you're unattracted to, and you're just going to marry them because their personality is so great. You can't fuck a personality. So obviously you want to reproduce with this person, and you find them attractive. That's how all dating works.
Right. Yeah.
From the very beginning of mankind, every single relationship is based off of, do I find this person attractive? So that's how it goes. But Spaceman does have a point. For the most part, I think men are unconditional, where they're going to try to work it out. They're going to try to work it out no matter what. But maybe, except from God, the only unconditional love that exists is a mother for their child.
Yeah. Or parents. I mean, I think
parents in general.
Think it's possible, like,
the mother,
family, stuff like that. But yeah.
But sometimes that's case for case.
Yeah. Because
you have deadbeat moms, you have deadbeat dads who don't give a fuck, or putting kids up for adoption or whatever. You name it. But I think for the most part, I think you can say that the closest thing to unconditional love, besides God, is parents to a child. But men to a woman is very fucking close. We do almost anything to keep that relationship successful. Yeah. Where women are like, oh, you fucking breathe the wrong way, you step the wrong way, you walk the wrong way, I'm done with you. I'm going to cheat on you. And I also want to hammer it home. Women do not leave relationships to be alone. Women almost, I would say, almost 100% of the time, so 99% of the time, if a woman breaks up with you, she already has the next guy planned.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about that, of just, women having the next one lined up the very next day, they're with their next guy, that sort of thing.
99% of the time.
I've never really heard that with a man. I've never really heard, like, one of my friends, whatever, the next day they're with someone, next week even. It's like, usually they're single for a while.
Yep. Bingo. Yep. The man will go home like I did. The man will go back home and live with his parents and not be looking for the next chick and not have the next chick lined up. But a woman, a woman will only leave her stable situation and leave her man when she's got the next man lined up. A woman will wait. A painful 6 months, a year, doesn't matter. A woman will wait in a relationship where she doesn't love the guy anymore. And she will wait until she's got that next guy who's got the house, who's got the apartment, somewhere that she can go, and then she'll go.
Well, Boomer brought up a good point. Robin Williams said it best in Good Will Hunting. It's not who you go out with on Friday night. It's who do you want to spend all Saturday with. I think it's true. It's like, it's not even just about the fun times, it's about who you want to spend your life with, which, I mean, nowadays it's just getting tougher and tougher to find that person. But
and that's why a lot of people are going to foreign countries for more traditional women. They're going to Mexico. They're going to South America. They're going to Japan to find more traditional women.
Yeah.
Because nowadays in America, you have women who don't want to cook. They don't want to clean. They want to have everything paid for them. They want to have an allowance from their boyfriend or their husband. They want to have their nails paid for. They want to have their eyelashes paid for. They want to go on all these extravagant vacations, but they don't want to cook or clean. The only thing they have to offer is their pussy. And they're like, and that's what makes me special, is because I have a pussy and you want to fuck it. And they're like, and so give me money. Treat me like a princess. In America, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. So that's why a lot of men, young men, are going to foreign countries to find a traditional woman who will do the laundry, who will vacuum the house, who will do the dishes. And they're also gonna put out, because a lot of these fucking women in the United States, not only do they think they deserve all of this stuff, but they hardly put out. They're disgusted. They're disgusted. You try to touch them, you try to initiate some type of intimacy, and they're like, no, not today. I got a headache. I'm not feeling good. I'm not in the mood or whatever. Like in foreign countries, you'll have fucking girls begging to suck your cock. And then afterwards, they're going to be like, can I make you a sandwich? Do you need your shirt ironed? And after they're done ironing your shirt, they're going to ask you again if you want to fucking touch their boobies.
True. I guess for you, what would be like your sort of, what's the Fear the Beardo screening process for finding a good woman?
Honesty. Just be honest with me. Don't tell me a comfortable lie. Don't tell me a comfortable lie. Just be honest. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. If I ask you something, if I'm concerned about something, don't lie to me and tell me something that I want to hear. Just tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, just those traditional things. Be traditional. Those traditional things, you know? Little things, man. Little things.
Now, what would you say like would be the ideal qualities that you would look for in a woman, besides, of course, what you just said?
Like physical?
Well, maybe not. I mean, if you want to go there, but I'm just saying like them as a person, so that you know like their wife material.
Oof. Oh man. Be sweet. Be sweet.
Yeah.
Talk to me like you're a woman. Don't talk to me like you're a man. Like I'm having a conversation man to man. Don't, if you're a woman, be feminine. Be nice. Be soft. Be feminine. You know, don't try to match my energy. You know, I'm not fucking gay. So don't try to match my energy as trying to talk to me like a dude, you know?
Yeah.
Be feminine, be sweet, be kind, you know, do little things, you know? You know, just, you know, stuff between a man and a woman, you know? Tickle my back, show me your tits, fucking initiate intimacy. I don't want to be the one to have to ask, hey, you know, do you want to fool around? Like, how about you come to me and you offer it up, you know, stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing for looking for a good woman is modesty, honesty, and be feminine.
Yeah. Queen S says, what did I walk into? I think that's from earlier.
Yeah, probably.
What is this? See, I personally think you should date within your own rate. What are we talking about? I don't agree with that, Chief. That's just me. I don't think Peter has any comment on that either, but yeah, I do not agree with that.
Hey, listen, I don't care if you're fucking white, purple, fucking green, yellow. I don't fucking care. If you're hot and you got big tits and you're nice and feminine, I'll stick my wiener in it.
Going back to like just I guess your earlier life, what would you say would be like the most critical sort of like period of time in your life, whereas like if that didn't happen the way things did, I wouldn't be here. Like that was like the make or break sort of turning point in your life.
Yeah. That'd be my divorce. That'd be my divorce. I was in a not so good toxic relationship where I was called a bum, I was mistreated, and I wasn't believed in, I wasn't supported, and I had to make a decision if I was going to continue living in this hostile environment that I wasn't being treated well, wasn't supported, I wasn't believed in, and yeah, and one day I had an epiphany. Is this the Beardo documentary? Apparently. Apparently. And I just decided, I had an epiphany, and I went to Home Depot. I bought a whole bunch of totes, boxes, and I called my dad and I said, hey, I need your help. And I packed up fucking everything, and I moved back to my parents' house. And that was the turning point for me, was leaving that unhealthy environment.
Now, if you don't want to answer this is totally fine, but were there any signs looking back, like when you're dating that woman or whatever, that like you would have maybe you overlooked it or whatever, that you can look back and be like, oh, I can see if I would have just stuck onto that, like I would have known that she wasn't right for me.
I knew on my wedding day that I didn't love her.
Dang.
And I told my mom on my wedding day.
Dang.
But I felt like it was my job, like it was my duty, like it was my responsibility that I had to do it, to take care of her. I felt like it was my God-given duty to do it. And I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's great. A lot of people did not know that you were married either.
Yeah.
But
it's all good. All good.
Yeah. But kind of what we said, I guess you kind of answered this earlier, but would you say there is any sort of like regret that you have? Maybe not like in the way we sort of talked of like, yeah, you know, you can look at the good thing, but if you could go back, or you could maybe redo something, or at least learn a lesson earlier that you might have, you know, overskipped, were there any like regrets that you have or had about certain things?
I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything, because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't, or if I wouldn't be where I'm at if I could change something. So I wouldn't change anything.
Well, if you couldn't, or if nothing changed, but you just like, I don't know how to put that, like you couldn't change anything, but it's still something that you can look back on and be like, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or like I knew better, or that sort of thing. Regrets in those moments, I suppose.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for regret is like if you can't live with it, I guess. That's probably the big thing, is like, you know, all the stories of people on their deathbed, what do you regret? It's like people regret they did things differently because they can't live with how their life did turn out. You know, they kind of wish it was different, you know. So you feel like that's going to be you, Beardo, at 127? You're going to be like, I'm good, you know, I don't regret anything.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that that's the case.
What would be something that would make you regret? Like if you truly did like kind of just went off the rails and like did some crazy stuff, and then you look back and like,
yeah, obviously. I mean, like this is the dream right now. And I hope that I can do this as long as I can, but YouTube has a short life cycle, you know. There's not too many, with the exception of Gary Nerdrotic, where you can do this until you're 60, 70 years old. So I'm hoping that this is going to go well over the next 10 to 20 years, and I can begin a new adventure after YouTube. I can do something, whether that's going to be sports broadcasting or investing, real estate. I don't know what it's going to be, but I like to say you can only control what's in front of you for the next 6 months. You can control what's going to happen in your life for the next 6 months, but beyond that is completely out of your control.
I would say 6 months is probably even too far.
Could be, but you can at least plan out and anticipate and expect what's going to happen for the next 6 months, and you can probably accurately plan that out, what's going to happen in the next 6 months. But beyond that is totally out of your control.
Yeah. That's I guess that's another point, is like, what do you think of sort of what you're saying of planning versus just kind of going more like day to day? You know, is it, because I think a lot of people get blinded by looking too far into the future, even if it is 6 months, because then you start kind of sometimes putting stuff off or not taking stuff as serious, because you're always like, oh, that's in the future, versus all I have is right now. You know what I mean? So like, for me at least, I think it's more important to kind of go day by day. Like, yeah, sort of have something you're aiming at, but don't go too far to where you start to, like I said, put things off into the future, not take things as seriously because you're always expecting the next day, the next week, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think that kind of boils down into having a schedule and also not falling into procrastination. Like, give yourself a schedule. You know what you're going to do. You know what jobs you have, what your duties are, and do them to your best ability. And you can set goals for yourself, but then once you set the goal, you need to take steps. It doesn't necessarily need to be every day, but you need to take the proper steps required to reach that goal by the time that you set it.
Yeah. Now, kind of going back to like your job and then moving into streaming. If streaming didn't work out, let's just say you got stuck at 4 viewers for the rest of time, right? Never move past that. What do you think you'd be doing at this moment in time?
That was never a thought for me. That was never a thought. I had zero doubts that I wouldn't do it, that I wouldn't make it. There was never a doubt that this wasn't going to be a career for me. It didn't exist. I knew it was. It was almost. I don't believe in speaking things into existence. I don't believe that because God has a plan, and I don't believe in what's the word, into like conjuring things. I don't believe in that because I'm a believer. But I almost felt like something bigger than me, that being the Lord, was telling me, this is it. Do it now. Jump. There's a great quote. Manifesting. Thank you, Arturo. Manifesting. I don't believe in manifesting. I do not believe in manifesting. I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. But there is power in believing in yourself and gambling on yourself. And there's a great quote from an Oscar Isaac movie. I don't know the name of the movie. I've never seen it, but I've only seen the scene where he says it. And he says, when it feels the scariest to jump, that is when you jump. Because if you don't jump, then you'll be in the same place forever. And that I will never do. And I took that, and like when I was working at that lumber job and I was thinking about streaming, that quote just kept replaying in my head. When it feels the scariest to jump, that is when you jump. Because if you don't, you'll be in the same place forever. So, yeah. So to answer your question, I don't have an answer because I never doubted myself. I knew if I quit that lumber job and I was going to pursue streaming, I was going to do it and I was going to make it. And it was going to be my job. So I don't have an answer for you of if it didn't work out, what would I be doing? Because it didn't exist. I was going to do it.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but like in a different timeline, do you think go back to that that lumber job, or
I'd probably find another job in lumber somewhere else? Yeah.
You ever think you'd be a lumberjack?
No. That's what the Mexicans are for.
Okay. Well, I got another question for you. You said you went to community college. What did you go to community college for?
I was a history major. So I was going to be a history teacher, but the goal was to be a football coach.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna teach high school history and be a football coach. That was what I was going to community college for.
Well, what stopped you from doing that?
Because I didn't like where the direction was going with my community college. It wasn't anything that like killed my dreams. It was just community college at that point, especially in California, became so woke
Mm.
and I'm studying classes and like I'm taking, general ed, math or whatever. And then the teacher walks in and starts talking about Trump. And I'm like, what does this have to do with world history from the 15th to 16th century? Why are we talking about Trump and Melania? The teacher walking in and just like totally just roasting Melania when the course is world history from the 15th and 16th century. What does Trump have anything to do with this?
Yeah.
And then also these fucking professors who are like, okay, the curriculum is in my book that I wrote that you have to pay for, and all of the homework that's due is in my book that I wrote that you have to buy, and I'm going to get all of the royalties for the book that all the homework is in that's mine. That's a fucking scam. That's a scam. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not buying your shitty fucking book. I'm not doing your homework. I'm going to take good notes in class and I'm going to ace your test. But if you're going to fail me because I didn't do the homework out of your fucking book that you're profiting off of, go fuck yourself. So that's why I stopped going to college.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the big thing is, college is, it's a mixture of like the price and just like you said, a lot of the other stuff, infiltrating stuff that you wouldn't even think, like you said, history and just all this other stuff. It's like, why does politics and all this other stuff need to be put into that when it has nothing to do with it? And then you're paying out of your butt for, you're going to have to pay this off for the next 20 years, but they're forcing you to not even learn about what you paid to learn for. It's insane.
Yep.
But you said before, if you ever have a kid, you're going to homeschool them, right, Beardo?
Homeschool, yeah, for sure.
And you're going to teach them to read from Pokemon?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The way that I learned. The best way.
Snalagaster says, I like this guy, but almost all of his issues are self-induced problems that he lacks the insight to see.
What are you even talking about here?
I don't know what the heck.
What the fuck are you talking about here? How does that? Did you fall asleep through the episode? What happened? Did you miss 90% of what I've been saying? Almost all of your experiences are fucking self-induced. All of your experiences are something that you have experienced on your own. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You only see through your eyes and your eyes only in life. So what are you talking about? You can learn from other people, but fuck, you're going to learn from yourself the most. Holy shit. Start your own fucking podcast and have 90 people fucking watching you. How about that? Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyways.
General Duality says trade schools seem to be the best option if you want a degree in something. Even that seems like it's a little bit muddy nowadays, but it's for sure a lot better than regular university. But even that seems to be a little bit more muddy now that I've heard. Like it's harder to get in, like apprenticeships and all this other stuff. But yeah, definitely better than regular. What Beardo, I don't know what he's got out for you, but low IQ response.
He's a troll. He's trolling. It's just like the trolls we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it wants the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter says, well, colleges are Beardo's fault.
Apparently.
Okay, if you could have one question answered about anything in the universe, what would you want to know?
Ooh. Any question answered from the universe? Wait,
like
say that again?
Anything you could think of, essentially. Just anything.
Any question that I want answered?
Right.
The sarcastic answer would be, did we go to the moon? Any question I could have answered ever. Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? And I think that's a good question that we can ask ourselves every day. Am I doing enough, or am I just doing the bare minimum? Is there more that I can do? Am I making enough of an impact? How well am I doing? I think that's a good question to ask yourself every day. Am I doing enough?
Yeah, but isn't that also a little bit dependent on your point of view? Because doing
Well,
enough kind of depends on like what you value, right? So are you doing enough for, let's say, your family? Are you doing enough for your job? Are you doing
mhm.
enough for this XYZ? So I don't know
I
how you
think,
would quantify that, I guess.
well, I think the answer would come from the Lord.
Mm,
So you ask yourself or pray and say, God, am I doing enough? And then the answer, clear answer in your head would be yes or no.
mm,
And then being told what more can you do? Whether that's talking to your family more, spending time with the loved ones. How affectionate are you? What can you do more at work? Or what I'm doing at work. And in this case, for me, being online and live streaming and podcasting, am I making an impact? Am I doing enough? What more can I do? I think that would be the question that I would want answered from the Lord is, am I doing enough?
mm. Yeah. Mark Andre Roy has a decent question, but I'm not going to read that. So,
Why did towers? Yeah.
Arturo says, "Can I make the world a better place before I die?" I mean, I think the
Yeah.
answer is just yes, no matter
Yeah.
what. I think that's the big thing, though, is like a lot of people kind of minimize themselves in what they think they can do. And actually, maybe it's also they don't put enough value on what they can do, you know? Like, even if it's just one person that you can help out, do something for, whatever, like, that's still a person. You've changed their life, forever. And that can carry on for forever. That person now helps someone out. That person, that sort of thing. It's almost like that one movie. What's that one movie where it's like they pass it on? The kid tries to like do good deeds for like three people so that they pass it on and they pass it on.
Mm.
Remember movie I'm talking about? I can't remember what it's
Mm-mm.
called.
Mm-mm. I don't remember
Someone
that.
in the has to know. I
I
cannot
remember the
remember.
Jim
Yeah,
Carrey movie, Yes Man, when he agrees to say
uh,
yes to everything.
that's different. This is more like the person's goal was to like, let's say I do something good for you, Beardo, and then you go do that for someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep passing it on so that eventually, you got all pretty much everybody on Earth doing good things for other people, essentially.
Chat
But
saying pay it forward.
yeah, I think that might be it. It has to probably be it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that's the thing too. Even with your streams, Beardo, even though maybe a lot of times you're not the most serious or whatever, that
Mm-hmm.
you've had an impact on a lot of people's lives that again can carry on through a lot of other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that's the point, man, to provide some entertainment, to keep evolving, and to just, take people's minds off of stuff. Because as much as I'm trying to take people's minds off of stuff and provide some entertainment, I'm also doing the same thing for myself to take my
mm,
mind off of things and just kind of escape. So while I'm escaping, trying to provide some entertainment, I hope that that is being paid forward into you guys being able to escape and take your mind off of things. I'm doing it. I'm live streaming and doing it just as much for me as I am for the audience.
yeah. Well, I guess that leads into another question. What would you say is like the hardest parts of being a streamer or streaming in general for you?
Um, the hardest, it used to be the criticism. It used to be the hate and the criticism, not so much anymore.
Mm,
Sometimes it lingers on, and sometimes it lingers on. And it's like, why does this person hate me? Why is this being said about me? I haven't done anything to this person, but this person already decided to fucking hate me, whatever. But that's
yeah.
just the internet, and there's nothing you can do about it. So fuck them.
Mm.
The hardest part about being a streamer, I don't know, figuring out what game to play next. It's the easiest job in the world, dude. It's the best and the easiest job in the world. Like it's like winning the lottery, man. This is the best thing that I could have ever imagined. So I don't know. The hardest part, I mean, yeah, just figuring out what game you're going to play next after you beat the one that you're already playing.
Yeah. Well, you still have like 15 games you got to finish, so.
It's only like 4 or 5. I have to beat The Witcher. I have to beat Red Dead 1. What else do I have to beat? I started God of War last year. I never finished that. Yeah. Maybe three games I need to finish.
Yeah, 3 times 10. But Arturo says, we give you shit, Beardo, but at the end of the day, we love you, brother.
I appreciate it, Arturo. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see.
This dude Schlagengoster hates my fucking guts, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him. He's having a bad
like
day.
You said, though, you know, at the end of the day, it's really just a fan giving you all that attention.
It is a fan. It is misplaced hate.
I guess a random question is like, as a streamer, I get, you know, maybe don't have like the biggest online presence, but what would you say has been like some of like the strangest, weirdest sort of like interactions or things you've dealt with on like being a streamer or just, you know,
emails
on the internet?
Email.
Yeah. You want to disclose any detail?
Leave it at that.
Oh, leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that.
Is it like, Dan?
Yeah, we'll just leave it at
that. Tina Guzman says, constantly have to make content. A lot of YouTubers don't take much time off due to the algorithm. This is true.
Oh, I don't have any days off. I mean, I don't work. Don't get me wrong. I don't work a 9 to 5, and I do have free time, but I stream every single day. Every single day I'm on a stream. Whether it's my stream, a Geeks and Gamers stream, or somebody else's stream, I'm on a stream 7 days a week. Minimum 1. Most of the time it's several. I work every single fucking day. But like I said, it doesn't feel like work. It's not a job. It's just something I do and I love it.
Hey, look at this. Jay Bird says, it's Snowgoster's way of saying, Beardo, I love you, man. And then he says this. See?
Okay, all right. I respect it.
But yeah, I think that's like the big thing too is when it comes down to it, I think a lot of people are now driven by the algorithm of like, you know, trying to chase the newest trends and everything else, but I don't see many creators sticking when they do that, you know. I think you have to sort of be original. You have to be yourself in some sense, but then also like, you know, do things that you enjoy, and then you'll find your sort of crowd that vibes with that. You can't force it and, you know, try to play the algorithm of like what's trendy.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting when it comes to streaming and stuff, because like you want to please your audience and you want your audience to enjoy what you're doing, but you can't let your audience control you, because then you're gonna hate what you're doing. The content's going to run dry. You're not going to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. So sometimes you have to say no, and you have to do what you want to do. Like there's going to be people that say, "Hey Beardo, play this game, do this, talk about this." And sometimes it's like, "Oh, you know what? That's a really great idea. I am going to do that." And other times it's like, you know what? That's not really my speed. I'm going to say no. And you got to be comfortable with doing that. You know, Dan Vasquez says it the best. He says it quite often. And it's like all of these people want him to cover all these different songs. And he's like, yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to do that song. And if you're constantly making content based off of just what people are telling you to do, you're not going to do it because you love it.
Yeah.
And the best content is made when you're doing something that you love.
Yeah. I feel like the big trap for that is once it becomes a living for you, because then you kind of are held captive to the audience, right? Because like if you're not doing what the audience wants, then the money stops coming in. So like a lot of people, like I said, if they get stuck in that trend and that trend dies out, then they're no longer relevant because the audience is gone because they don't have any, you know, connection with that creator, but it's also on the flip side, like if you are a creator that does one thing that you love but wants to branch out into other things, it's a lot harder to do if your audience really only shows up for that one thing, which is why they say like on YouTube, stick to a niche, right? Find your niche, do that. But it's like if you try to branch out of that, then you're not gonna really get anywhere with it. It kind of sucks.
Yes and no. I mean that's why like off rip you don't want to get stuck into that niche like per se like if you're a Pokemon shiny hunter streamer and that's the only thing you ever do on stream is spending countless hours shiny hunting Pokemon. You find the shiny and then you're on to the next one. Like, for one, you're going to get burnt out. And then two, your audience is going to be like, okay, this was great for the first 10 months, but now it's just the same thing over again. I'm just watching this guy reset his game over and over and over again until he finds a shiny Pokemon. Or like I've talked to you, I've said that you should play more single player games, branch out. I've said this to my brother, you know, Fortnite. You guys keep playing Fortnite. Play some other games, play some single player games, branch out a little bit and stuff, because eventually, the audience is going to be like, great, I've seen this guy catch 300 doves. I've seen him play Fortnite however many times. But in Fortnite, it's very repetitive. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You're looting, shooting people, and winning or losing. So it's good. It's good to keep things fresh. It's good to branch out, play some new games and stuff. The whole niche thing, like the niche part could be your personality, but it's good to rotate the games, because it's like if I were to have played Arkham City and that's the only thing I play, and I beat Arkham City and then I just play through it again and I play through it again and play through it again. And imagine I did that for 5 years and the only video game I'm playing is Arkham City. People aren't going to watch. People are going to be like, I've fucking seen him do this already.
Yeah. Well, that was a good segue, Beardo, because I am playing a different game.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to be playing Halo Combat Evolved. So
hell yeah.
Make sure you're subbed on the channel. We got 96 people here. If you haven't yet, drop a like on the stream. We're already over 100 likes as well. And then too, if you're not subscribed, almost pushing our way to 200 as well. So appreciate everybody being here. But let's see, we got a couple questions here I want to go through. Boomer says, Beardo, do you ever have to deal with people situation like the girls? I'm guessing he's talking about like crazy fan interactions out and about or at cons or just in general, I guess.
No. I mean, I've had a few threats, but nothing too serious.
You've just had a few threats, nothing serious?
I've had a few threats, but nothing that I think I should be too concerned about. But I have had death threats before.
Okay.
From people within the community, by the way. They know who they are.
Dang. And then Jester says, what is starting out like a streamer, or what is it like starting out as a streamer? More consistency or niche finding?
Consistency. Consistency's key. Consistency is key. If like, let's take Bro Science, for example. Bro Science is every Wednesday. I know at 4:00 every Wednesday, I'm doing Bro Science. I don't care if I'm on vacation, if I'm going out to California, if I'm going to be in Vegas, I'm bringing my laptop, I'm bringing a webcam, I'm bringing my microphone, and I'm going to live stream Bro Science. With the one exception, Wednesday, Bro Science was on Christmas. I wasn't going to have the boys stream Bro Science on Christmas. That's the only Bro Science that we have ever missed was on Christmas this year. But like, say X-Wing's out of town, I'm going to reach out to some people and see if we can get a fill-in. If Blaine can't make it, I'm going to reach out to some people, see if we can get a fill-in. If not, I'm going to run it with just me and X-Wing, or I'm going to run it with me and Blaine. But consistency is key. If you have something that you do every single fucking week, you do it. No matter what. I don't care if you're traveling, if you're sick, or anything. You fucking do it. As far as the internet goes. Because if you miss a week of streaming, guess what the audience is going to do? They're going to go find somebody else. They're going to go find another streamer. And then they're going to watch that streamer because they're consistent. So as a streamer, you have to be consistent.
Now, what do you think? I think you said this earlier, but basically, kind of, I've experienced this, and I think you said you did too. Of your numbers kind of stagnate for a while, but once you sort of get a boost, then it kind of helps out. What would you say for like, especially people that maybe don't have any help or haven't had any help in a while and are just like kind of streaming by themselves or whatever? What would you say is like their best method of kind of gaining traction? Because like you said before, it is so oversaturated. It's very hard to get discovered. Would you say it is get involved in the community, sort of like you did?
Yeah, get involved with the community for sure. But beyond that, like, yes, find a community, get involved, talk with people, create friends groups. Discord's good for that. Twitter's good for that and stuff. But also look at the algorithm. Look what's hot in the algorithm. Like this month, I've been telling several people this month, Resident Evil's hot right now because RE9 comes out in a few weeks. Resident Evil's hot. Stream Resident Evil. You're going to get views. Almost all the time, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Batman guy, if you stream in an Arkham game, people are going to show up and watch. If you're streaming Red Dead Redemption, people are going to show up and watch. There's a few games where it doesn't matter if you have 10 subs. If you're streaming the game and your thumbnail's good and the game is in your title, you're going to get viewers. You will get viewers. So pay attention to the algorithm. Pay attention to Twitter. Pay attention to YouTube. See what game's hot and jump on that bandwagon and play it. Even if you've never played it before, do it for the first time. Even better. Even better. If somebody puts in playing Resident Evil for the first time, people will click on it to watch just to see your ass get scared.
Yeah.
So I play hot games, man. Play hot games. Look at the algorithm and see what's going on to get some views.
This guy, I've never seen him before. Zwing5 says, long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a question for Beardo. My channel is dying. How do I save it?
Play Arkham City.
I guess the follow-up question would be, what do you do if you've already streamed Arkham City on your channel? Stream it again?
Play Arkham Knight.
Yeah, I guess the last question I have for you is, FearTheBeardo, if you could be remembered for one thing or just in general, what would you want to be remembered for?
Doing my best. I want to be remembered for doing my best. No matter what, FearTheBeardo did. He always tried his hardest. That's what I would want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess another follow-up question. Do you think that you've tried your hardest so far?
So far, I think so. Far, I think so.
X25 says, Beardo wants to be remembered for not being fat.
Not being fat, girthy legs.
Yeah, well, he's got to do some more gym vlogs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
But
appreciate everybody being here for episode 2 of Deep Dive with High Tide, joined by FearTheBeardo. Appreciate everybody being here. Almost at 3 hours too, but yeah, appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thank you.